everything's a bit
Okay.
here and there. One sec.
Recording in progress. Got it.
Headphone Jack is what
Um,
Jack's mom named him after.
yeah, that's right.
Oh, wait,
Recording
say
in
again.
progress. I wanted to. Oh, sorry.
No, say again. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
she's saying that headphone Jack is what my mom named me after. Right.
Well, how appropriate, given your illustrious career in not just the stereo realm, but on screen, stage as well, and screen,
Yeah.
considering the video work.
Well, yes, and I love that you said my illustrious career because that's what I think of it too.
Yeah, exceedingly illustrious.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you should think of it, right?
I'm with you, man.
Yeah. Well,
And my yeah, this is fine.
yeah, and of course, Charlotte, your illustrious modeling career as well.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I'm known for.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about everything everyone else does, and you're obviously and obviously the music work, which I have an intro for you. But in my highly disorganized state in London, well, we'll be leaving that in though. Let's see, where's my phone? So at the moment, we're at my partner.
I like your background. Did you jerry rig like a black canvas backdrop?
Yeah, I did. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I wanted to have kind of look like CD-ish, like Videodrome kind of CD. Also, there's a Mike Nesmith.
I love Videodrome.
Isn't that one of the best movies of all time?
Did you see the new Cronenberg movie? I saw it on my birthday, and Sean and I got into an argument over it because he thought it was pretentious, and I thought it was just pretentious enough.
That's what I like about Cronenberg. It's like just pretentious enough. I have not seen it yet, and I really want to because I missed the theatrical
Crimes in the
run.
Future. It's excellent. There's some amazing visuals, at least.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see that. I'm rarely disappointed by one of his films, and I was talking the other day to someone about how Crash is still so disturbing that
it's so good.
Exactly.
So good though.
No, it's incredible. It's incredible. And someone, what was it? It was that
most incredible things are a little disturbing.
Yeah, well, it seems like we all have a shared taste for the disturbing. I mean, I'm gleaning that from the videos and also some of the material in the songs.
Yeah, for sure. I'm disturbed right now.
Well, I try to disturb Charlotte by just mentioning the modeling thing, and I think it worked. So, but one of the things about that I love though is that there's a lot of acts that don't have any recourse in terms of piloting their own ship, but you seem to want to channel your commercial endeavors into your art. And I think that, unless I'm mistaken, I don't know if that's the situation.
Sure. I mean, listen, we're piloting the ship out of necessity. I would love for someone to like come in and like magic wand us into this, that'd be great. But it is nice that we get to steer the ship for sure. And as far as the creative endeavor, I don't know if it's channeling those. It's just what we have in our toolkit.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we're totally willing to sell out.
Ready, willing, and able.
Faustian deal with corporate America. I just don't think corporate America wants us. Like,
no.
Our idea of pop is like still super weird. Like, I realize I'm pretty clueless. So Jack's a little more clued in than I, but yeah, I don't think we could sell out.
Saying a whole lot, but yeah.
Okay. Well,
but we are like Robin Hood. We take my like old money from corporate America and channel it into art.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And also, listen, I believe in all of you. I think you can sell out. Listen, I'm with you.
Thank you. That is the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's from me to you. There's so many influences. I know that people like to say Bowie, and obviously we all like Bowie. How can you not like Bowie? But I hear like a bit of Gibraeff in there as well. I was wondering.
Yeah,
Gibraltar?
Well, yeah, you know what? The Rock of Gibraltar. I hear the strength of the Rock of Gibraltar, but Gibraeff.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
love Gibraeff.
For a while, Billy Corgan was trying to like push us to sound more like Uriah Heep. He would just like in the middle of the night all the time just text me Uriah Heep, and I'd be like, "What? I
don't know that.
I don't get it. I don't understand that vision for us." But maybe he was right.
It's funny. I noticed Uriah Heep fans are like really obsessed with Uriah Heep. Someone came over after a thing and they were like, I've got to play you side 2 I can't remember what album. You're right, and it was very good. But I was like, okay, wow, like they were keen on it. They mentioned it 3 times during the night. Yeah,
That's so funny. Yeah.
They were on cocaine, is why that happened.
How did you guess?
They were, well, I might have dipped my toe in once or twice. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have done some research in that field as well.
That's true. Whenever someone really obsessively wants to like sit you down and force you to listen to an entire album after a party, there's usually cocaine involved.
That's very the worst. True. And you're like, yeah, I know.
And then like playing really air drum solos.
Oh God. And I'm trying to be sweet, and I've done it before too, for sure.
Sure.
But I'm always like, I know this song has really touched your life, but like, it's 4 a.m. I could give less of a shit. I have to shit. I need it.
Yeah, right.
Show me on the doll where he touched you.
Yes.
If you had to pick a 4 a.m. song to buttonhole someone with, what would each of you pick?
Oh my God, Cosmic Dancer.
I can't argue with that one.
A good one.
And what's great about that is not that many lyrics. So when you go listen to the lyrics and then you're talking over them, there's just a couple of them. So the person can absorb it while hearing.
Actually, it's funny you mention this because I realized we have a problem where we don't write like music that can easily be in the background of stuff because it's like it's too like dense chordally and lyrically to just have as a vibe in the background at a party. And I realized the albums that blow up because they're just like a vibe that can be in the background at a party, and so people spin them a lot at parties. Like, and I realized, oh fuck, we don't have any like party music that's just like kind of like drone or just like cool like vibe with a groove like that, because that doesn't demand too much of your frontal cortex to engage with.
Yeah,
right.
There's zero chill like whatsoever. It does not exist.
Yeah, we need some just chill background music. Oh, in fact, Jack recently told me, he was like, "Oh, Charlotte, I just discovered this new genre of music. It's amazing." And I was like, "What?" Oh, yeah. And he was like, "It's called Muzak." He's like, "It's so good." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" But
it's so great, and it's like a 60s department store, and I have it on in my house all the time. Because there's so much music, like I DJ as well, and it's so much that I just need like
just like
in my house. I'm like
some flute stuff.
Not even.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's funny because I just don't even listen to music. Like I cannot stand like noise anymore because I'm just constantly listening to it for work.
Okay, yeah. So, how early did that start? When you started? When did you start making music, playing music? We'll start with Charlotte first, and then Jack.
I was writing. So I think Jack too. We were both like writing songs as tweens. Like one of my favorite birthday presents was a little blue guitar from my dad, and like when I was like 12, I would take that around and write songs in hotels, like when I was modeling, and yeah, somehow that segued into like a professional.
I said the dirty word, and so that's
yeah, dirty word or in this biz, but yeah, Jack, you had some teenage bands, I recall.
Oh my God, yeah. So just like it was a musical family, so everyone played an instrument and everyone sang, and we would sing together. And I thought like everybody's family was like that. It was really sweet. And then in high school, I had a band where we had one song, and it was like this like almost screamo like heavy industrial band mixed with like a steel drum, and all the lyrics I like whispered, and I would like, we have this music video that I hope no one finds, but I'm like walking around my friend's mom's pool and I'm like saying the dumbest, oh my God, it's really cringe.
Oh God, you guys were really cute.
It was cute.
Yeah, it was like steel drum, hardcore steel drums.
I'd really like to hear that. Steel drum in particular adds something to a song. Even better synthesized steel drum, like a preset on.
We didn't quite get there.
Oh, so you had an actual steel drum?
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, and the guy in your band you had a crush on, he had like one arm.
Yeah, he was my first kiss too.
Really?
That's hot.
That is
Really
hot.
That's
it
funny.
was
My
hot.
best
And
friend growing up, Eden, her mom only had one leg, and I became obsessed with playing with her prosthetics. Like I wanted to
oh
grow
yeah,
up and
that's cool.
become like a prosthetic designer, like for prosthetic limbs, because I was so obsessed with Eden's mom's like stump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of are doing that in a way.
Yeah, we do a lot of prosthetics, like makeup prosthetics and stuff.
Yes,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, well,
But there
the
was always
videos are.
singing.
Mhm.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
Sorry.
There was always singing and always trying to make music, and then I just realized at one point I didn't have the skill set producing wise, and my time clock I made up in my head was like didn't allow me to learn it in time. So I was like, I should join a band, and then I want them to all be really good at doing stuff, so I just show up and sing.
That's not true. He's like there in the trenches doing everything with us.
I heard
No,
in
for
another
sure. But
interview
as
you
far
talking
as
about writing
production
together.
goes,
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't
He's
mean.
not
yeah.
a typical lead singer at all. Like he's not the meme of a lead singer who doesn't carry anything or really. He's amazing. He's there with me for everything.
So he doesn't have the oft-touted lead singer disease.
No, I
No,
wish I
actually,
did.
the diva in our band are the straight boys.
Yeah,
They're
for
the really
sure.
like, oh, do all the work for us. We don't want to lift anything. We don't want to break a nail. Like the
Oh yeah.
straight
For
boys.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're like
So
my back. I'm like,
I can't move my own Marshall. It's not
yeah,
right. Yeah.
Oh,
very that.
literally.
Very that. No, I wish I wish I was like that, but yeah, no.
No. Well, okay. Well, you're dispelling some myths about that, and the other thing, which I won't mention. I could bleep that too, the earlier mention, and we'll just leave it mysterious. Your past is very mysterious. But you're growing up in Austin, or rather, you grew up in Austin, correct, Jack?
Yes, I did.
Now,
I did grow up there, yeah.
tell us a little bit about the difference between Austin and the rest of Texas.
So it's stereotypically known as the blue dot in a red state, which is accurate, but it's not the oasis one might think it is. You're still in Texas. But yeah, I
I
mean,
love Texas though.
I love Texas, and I grew up in
Texas gives
an
zero
older
fucks.
Austin with
That's
like
true.
guys who were riding bikes in thongs, and like just when it was actually weird instead of the like capitalist weird it's like branding itself as now, and it was truly a bunch of like rich libertarian hippies who like, I mean, it was fun. It was a really fun place to grow up.
Well, you love the
So wait,
over
is
the
that code for
topness.
orgies? Lots of orgies?
I didn't say
Rich
it.
libertarian hippies?
I didn't say it, but
But hey, you want to infer it, which I do. That sounds like what it might be. Now, in terms of your experience with orgies, Charlotte, what town did you have yours in? That we'll just get to that, and then yeah.
Yeah, my background was very wholesome. It was like military bases in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But I left home when I was 14. I've been living alone since I was 14, like raised by wolves in the big city. So it went very quickly from like wholesome, like being into Shakespeare and homeschooled and learning wild bird calls with my dad in the forest and survival training. Went from that to immediately just like club promoters and getting molested and like trying to like make money as a 14-year-old.
Well, so, wait, survival training, do you mean like the survivalist stuff?
Yeah, like we would go out into the woods with nothing but like tablets to purify creek water for a week or something. And
wow.
But that kind of translated into surviving in New York City for me a little bit.
Yeah, well, as soon as you said club promoters, I was like, well, you had the right background.
Yeah.
You're predatory.
So you're both DJ, right?
I DJ.
You DJ.
Jack
okay.
DJs.
Yeah. And when and so you were writing songs as well, Charlotte, from a very young age, but in that setting as well, or do you say? I'm sorry, I'm a little jumbled today. You got to please forgive me.
Oh no, I'm always
Craig.
jumbled. Yeah, no, we both started writing songs when we were like tweens, I think. For me, it was like me and this girlfriend, Eden. She and I were really into Shakespeare and the Renaissance Festival. We were like dorks. We were not cool. every other kid in Atlanta was like into hip hop. So our way of rebellion was like, we're into Shakespeare. So we wrote all these folk songs that when I was like 18, Sean heard them and he was like, oh my God, these are so good. We should record them. And so we did that, and then we ended up starting our own record label, and Sean and I had a band, and then I was like, you know what, I need to like kind of do my own thing because everyone just thinks I'm your model girlfriend. So then I started Uni. I met David, I actually had originally hired to play guitar in my folk band with Eden.
What was the name of the folk band?
Yeah, he also has a background in folk. Like when I met him, he would only write songs with like 17 verses and no chorus. Like,
Classic.
He just wanted to be like Leonard Cohen or something.
Right.
So he called himself a folk rapper.
That's amazing.
When we would get into arguments about like the rhyme not rhyming, because I'm kind of fascist about like rhymes, like, and he would have these incredibly loose rhymes, and he would like, we get into fights to be like, Kemp, I'm just a folk rapper, you don't get it. I'd be like, okay, not Eminem, bro. Like Eminem can find like 47 words that rhyme with orange, there's technically no rhymes for that word,
right?
But
technically not. And my favorite answer given to Rolling Stone, I think, when Michael Stipe was asked what the new album is sounding like, he said, it sounds like two oranges being nailed together. I was like, that's the greatest way to say fuck off that I've ever heard.
Wow, that's a very beautiful, specific image.
And you can't even be mad at it because it's funny.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it sounded very like gushy.
I would think so as well. And also at the speed at which you did put the nail through the orange, and which way you did it. Did you do it to the first one first, or do you cluster them together?
Yeah, feasibly it could also be totally silent. So his album could just be a cover of John Cage's 433.
Right, exactly.
If you do it slow enough.
Maybe variations on. So complete a three vinyl box set. Variations.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a cool guy. I went to Michael Stipe, right? You were saying? Yeah. I went to sex club with him in Berlin, and Peaches, they took us to this like underground sex dungeon, and it was really like dank and scary, and there was like the sounds of like chains clanking and moaning, and we were in this group of people. We did the choo-choo train, like holding on to each other's shoulders and like walking around the basement in the dark, like terrified but like giggling.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I know I was recently at my first not play party, but there was a playroom torture garden. So with my partner Ada, and so she knew the ropes, if you will. And but
Come
Berlin, we're yeah, thanks. Ada says hello. Oh, Ada is a huge fan of the food that you love that other people don't seem to like. Uni.
Oh, Uni.
Oh, good. Really? That's amazing. It's so hard to find people that actually like Uni and the food as well.
Yeah, because
we were arguing with this radio DJ at NPR the other day because he was like, "Oh, it's so gross. It's all like slimy and fishy," and I was like, "Oh, that's what's so great about it."
Yeah. I was trying to remember if I'd had it, and then when you mentioned, because I listened to that, and you mentioned that it comes in it's like a star or something. It's in
like a spiky ball.
Yeah. So I know I've had it. I liked it. I didn't have strong feelings about it, but when I mentioned to Ada, I said, "Oh, the reason it's the double name, Uni and the Urchins." I told her about that. I said, "Well, they were kind of unsearchable. It's like when you go on eBay and search for like heart, you better have like Heart Passion Works in there or something."
Right.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know about that. That's like the sort of like unromantic real reason we changed our name was we were like totally unsearchable, because I guess like Japanese isn't like considered like a word on Spotify. They think it's a prefix, so it would be like universe, unicorn, like a unicycle would come up before us, like a million things, and then as soon as we changed it, it comes up.
Yeah, it comes up right away. Yeah, and then Ada was very not overly enthusiastic, extremely enthusiastic about. She was like, "Oh, I fucking love that," and I was like, "I will tell Charlotte. She'll be happy to have a supporter in that regard." Yes,
that's awesome.
And Man, I'm fractured today. It's crazy. I'm on night feed
You don't
schedule.
seem fractured, Craig. You
Thank
seem very together.
thank you very much. I appreciate that. So I will go with
Don't
that.
you worry, baby.
You're
Don't
a
worry,
darling.
we're
Thank
all
you.
fractured.
Yeah, I think
We're all
yeah.
just barely holding it together.
You know, it's really true. That's really true, and I think ever more so after that thing no one wants to talk about that happened for the last 2-3 years. I think that there's like sort
Yeah.
of a little bit of a crack at everyone's foundation, and little things bubble up that you're like, hey, that happened when I was 14, and I thought I got over it. Nope, it's
Right. There
back.
she
It's
is.
back.
She's
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of love the chaos though. I love like that we're basically living in a South Park episode ever since like 2020. Like stuff keeps getting more and more surreal every day. Like they're
Especially
talking about
taking a break.
aliens.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off. Taking a break from U.S. news because I've been in London and for the birth of my son Peter. Hello, Peter.
Oh, congrats!
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, he was born on Halloween.
Oh,
ooh, did you name him after Gabriel?
So jealous.
Gabriel's a really good one, but I named him after, or we named him rather, after my dad, my brother, both my granddads were named Peter, and Pete Townsend. I'm a massive Pete Townsend
Oh,
fan.
that's good. That's good.
Wow.
But Gabriel
You
definitely
got all the
fits
good
in there.
Pete's there.
Yeah, no, and especially
That's
now with
so
the Gabriel.
nice.
So I appreciate. Any other favorite Pete's between the two of you?
Peter Griffin.
No, but do you know about that story when Pete like was doing the windmill and he stabbed the whammy bar through his finger, through his hand, and he had to be rushed off by paramedics, and like immediately Roger just started playing his solo material. He was like, didn't skip a beat.
No.
And Roger's solo material largely was written in the early days anyway by Leo Sayer, who
Oh, really?
yeah, and if
I
anyone
didn't
wants
know
to see a
that.
great video, look up, maybe I'll put the link in the episode bio. Look up Leo Sayer breaks out of Celebrity Big Brother house. You know, the guy who sang
I've
You
seen
Make Me.
this.
It's amazing, right?
Yes, I've seen this. It's amazing.
And the
And
craziest
he's
thing
like
is, go ahead, sorry.
he's like
What is
super crotchety. He's super crotchety about it. He's like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, he doesn't stop swearing. Like Leo Sayer, kind of soft rock, you think, and had his own sort of children's show almost in the mid '80s.
Yes.
There's a great duet with him and Gary Newman singing on Broadway when Gary Newman
Yes,
was in full
what was the
berserker.
Oh my
show
god,
called?
I
Do
love
you
Gary
remember?
Newman. Wait, who's this other guy? How have I not heard of him?
Leo Sayer, I think you'll dig
he's
him.
not something you'd.
Well, no,
yeah.
I didn't think so either, but I heard him on the Bob Lefsetz podcast, and he has this fascinating story because he was discovered by Adam Faith and then kind of ripped off by Adam Faith. I hate that song that he's known for, really. It's that song that goes, You make me feel like dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Dance the night away.
Exactly.
You make me feel like
dancing.
But it's an undeniable hit.
No,
It's
absolutely.
Bop.
It's a
But
bop.
it's annoying, yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
he has some other
I
stuff
hate
that's
any
super
happy
creepy.
music.
Really? Wow. Any happy music? Okay. Now, does Lou Reed have any happy music? This is the question of the hour.
Does Lou Reed have any happy music?
Yeah, I want to know
Yeah.
because I heard in that discussion with I can't remember the NPR guy. He brought up the AI thing, which we'll talk about, of course. But,
yeah,
Lou
yeah.
Reed and Louis and imagine that Lou Reed and Louis Anderson combined in AI. That
Oh
would
yeah,
be...
yeah. We should do that with us, Jack. Like merge ourselves, like make an avatar.
I was
that's
looking for
specifically-
something like that.
and personality-wise, an amalgam of us.
That would be a
In the old
terror
days,
to
that was just called
society.
having a kid.
Yeah, that.
Right.
Now we have AI to do it.
That'd be really bad for the world. I don't know if I'm ready to unleash that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you can always keep it contained. If you look
Yeah,
at it,
that's true.
and it's like that movie, It's Alive. You go, well, just keep it in the house. What?
Oh my
It'll
god.
compete with Google's Bard.
What's that?
It'll compete with Google's Bard. They all have these like competitor AIs coming out right now, like
What
ChatGPT.
What AI do you use, or did you use for the?
A
the
really
song?
primitive neural network that just generated random words. Not a famous one. It's called like These Lyrics Do Not Exist or something, the website. But now they have like extremely sophisticated algorithms. Like the one we were using, there was no way it sounded like a human was writing it, or like they had been hit by a car or something falling on their head. Like maybe, but now more than passes the Turing test. In fact, it's kind of scary because universities are not knowing like if they'll be able to pass people because they won't know if Chat GPT like wrote their essays or not.
Oh, wow. I was wondering what the level of accuracy or intrigue it was at, because I noticed recently on the Andy Warhol Diary series, they did that thing, which is great for narration, where
Yeah,
they
the
fed all
deep
his
fake
stuff in.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
right.
wasn't deep fake, but it was like they AI'd his voice. And they did it with Anthony Bourdain too.
Oh, they did.
It's pretty interesting.
They did
Like,
it with the Beatles. Like Peter Jackson was using this like cutting edge technology to take mono recordings of like outtakes of them just hanging out and in the studio and jamming, and have AI be able to identify in these mono recordings single tracks, the tambourine, Paul's voice, John's voice, the drums, like the bass, and separate them all and be able to make like stereo mixes, like very advanced stuff.
I couldn't
Oh,
believe it
and
when
the
they.
colorizing of that war film that they
yeah.
colorized and like
Oh, right.
underdubbed.
I haven't seen it, but I read about it. But when I watched one of those making of things about Peter Jackson's sound work with that, I was blown away because I was familiar with some of the footage from the old Let It Be film. But like when they had stuff like there's a recording in the film that was from a microphone hidden in a flower pot that for decades
Oh
they were like,
yeah.
well, we
I thought
can't
that
hear
was
it.
kind of fucked.
I thought that was fucked too, but I was like, this is
I thought it was kind of fucked.
I couldn't believe it. I also couldn't
Wait,
believe
wait, wait. There was a kitten in a flower pot?
that. No, see, this is good. See, now
There
we're
might be
playing.
somewhere else,
There might
but
be somewhere else. And now we're kind of playing Exquisite Corpse, which is fun.
yeah.
Right.
In Get Back, there's a scene where there is a microphone in a flower pot, and John and Paul go off to like have a private conversation. They did not know they're being recorded.
Yeah.
And if you're ever in a band, watching the documentary is like the cringiest, most accurate thing ever. And they're like obviously like Beatles.
And
so
that was
it's
also,
like
by the way, edited to like be pretty tame.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
I can imagine because they're talking about what like how they're going to handle George and oops, we were really mean to him, or like
Yeah.
like whatever, and then but we should be all that stuff. So,
but they were like, for all the shit they get about like the drama and whatever, they were like actually pretty lovely to each other. Like we've been way more nasty to each other. Like
oh, horrible.
I'm sure they were aware of when the cameras were rolling, though. They probably like reined it in. But like, there is not one band in history, especially successful band, like that didn't end up hating each other. Like, look at Pink Floyd. Look at like all of them, like the Rolling Stones. Like
and Pink
Keith
Floyd.
and
Do you
Mick
see what
hate
happened?
each other.
Do you see what happened recently? David Gilmour's
Oh
partner.
yeah, like Roger Waters' scandal.
Yeah. Yeah, like if anyone out there thought maybe they'd reunite again, no, I don't think so.
Absolutely
not.
Yeah,
David Gilmour's wife came for him.
And then David Gilmour retweeted and said everything here is demonstrably true.
Oh my god, yeah, it's such drama. It's really sad because I love those guys. I'm like obsessed with Floyd, and I think Roger Waters is so talented. I wish he would just keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, I know, me too.
I think he's married to a Palestinian, right?
Is he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's the context for a lot of his like criticism of Israel. He's married to a Palestinian, so he probably hears that side of it, right? But I don't know. It's just like you don't want to get involved in any of that. It's just unfortunate.
All we're talking about is Pink Floyd. We're not talking about anything to do with it. And one thing
Palestine or Israel, go.
I just want them all to get along.
Who's your favorite?
I know they exist, and that's all. I'll leave it at that.
And I wish them the best.
But when you mentioned
I remember like
bands,
getting in trouble recently on like I don't know. I was like trying to like defend someone or whatever, and like they came at me. But I was like, bro, no, like I love Israel. I love Woody Allen. I was like, I love Woody Allen and Larry David. I was like, no, I can't be Kanye. I love Woody Allen.
I said to someone the other day, I now have two therapists, and I see every other month a psychiatrist who deals with the bipolar medication. So I said to someone, I said, I'm
No need to
reaching.
brag, Craig.
Oh well. I said state funded mostly. But I said something like, "Oh, I'm reaching Woody Allen tier therapist," and as I'm saying it, I was like, "You can't use that joke anymore." Okay, that one's in the bin.
Yeah, oh man.
I
I
guess
know.
I
not.
know it's so many
The
eggshells.
times are changing, eh?
Do you have any problematic favorites?
Oh, only problematic favorites. All of my
Unfortunately,
heroes
most of
are
my heroes were
incredibly
canceled or
problematic.
dead.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, have you seen Tar?
Seen it. I
No.
lived it. No, I have not seen that.
Seen it. That's my story. They ripped me off. Well, I highly recommend seeing it. It deals with a lot of these subjects, as well as people getting too much power in various entertainment industries, etc. And it's really, really well made. I kind of flipped out over it. It was like
I'm
two and a
gonna
half
watch
hours,
it
and
and
I
take
didn't know.
notes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You want to learn how to be
I
just
know.
like her in the future, and that would help you because you need some of the lead singer disease.
Very little,
Let
huh?
that just pour into you. So
I
you're
don't know. I gotta. We're saying
Oh
this, but
no, he
there's a
can turn it
little.
on. He can turn
Yeah,
it on
there's.
if you give him a
Yeah,
drink.
I wouldn't even tell me that. There's like definitely a messiah complex within me. For sure.
he can turn it on when it's like when the cameras are rolling, where it counts.
Okay,
Where
sure.
it
I mean, well,
counts, honey.
you do certainly project a lot of magic in the videos and everything. And
Yeah.
I also want
Well,
to
thank you.
commend you all on the the breadth and depth of the videos, because there's a lot of
Thank
videos
you.
now because it's easy to make them where it's like, yeah, it's a video. But you
Mhm.
guys make like really great little mini films that have their own little universe that also they combine to make this total universe.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. I will say that we had even like vastly more epic plans for all of them, but right before last year, I unwisely invested all of my remaining cash in crypto, and I bought at the top basically, and then it just immediately crashed right afterwards, and I'm like
Buy
still.
high, sell low.
That's right. That's what they always say.
That's my motto in life apparently. So I was like kind of planning on everyone was like, oh, it's going to the moon, it's going to 100K by the end of the year, so I like bought in at 64 and then it immediately dropped to like 18. But I was planning on making all of these videos with like my sweet gains or whatever from the market, and I was like, okay, we're gonna make so much money off of crypto, we're gonna be able to do all these crazy ideas.
Yeah.
And then the opposite happened, and so Jack and I kind of had to go back to the drawing board and figure out how to sort of scrappily re-envision a bunch of things like in my living room, essentially our rehearsal space.
Literally.
You would be really surprised if you saw the room that we actually like make most of these videos. It's like a tiny little shithole. But we made the most out of it, but like definitely I would love one day to be given a proper budget. Like we're scheming doing a feature film with my friend Rich Ragsdale later this year. So hopefully we can get funding for that, and then you'll see what we're really capable of.
Well,
I mean, and we're very lucky as well to have so many friends that are also amazing artists that come on, and like we have like a guerrilla crew that comes in and like just stays all day and really helps. And Charlotte she hates compliments, but Charlotte is an amazing director. And I know she hates it, but listen,
we have a great
every
little
time
small
I've done auditions
crew.
now, I look up the director and because I did this one, I won't even say it, but like she's really spoiled me directing wise, because now I look things up of auditions. I'm like, well, I'm not doing that because there were like it just doesn't like stack up with the Uni direction basically.
I like
well,
you
when
said
you're
she
working
doesn't
with
like
Jack, you don't need to
compliments.
say much.
Oh, okay.
Like Jack really just knows how to do it. Like you don't have to really say anything. It's but yeah, so What was I gonna say?
Well, I'm going to
You
just
threw me
pause you
off.
there for a second because it was hilarious because Jack said, but she doesn't like compliments at all on the direction. And then immediately Charlotte said, we have a really good crew of people. They do a lot of stuff. They do all the stuff.
Yeah. That's very
Well, it's kind of like who are like those directors that have like a consistent family that they work with. Like we tend to work with the same makeup, the same hair person, and like Jack and I are doing like 90% of the shit ourselves, but like the people that we do work with, it's like become a family because we've been in the trenches so much, like a small little group. Like a lot of the videos we did with no crew and just us and Ari, like me, Jack, and Ari. It would be holding like a Bolex, and we would just be breaking into abandoned buildings and shit, and like that was also really fun.
Taping lights to ladders and like putting sunglasses over them as a gel filter.
Ooh,
like
that's a really good
just
idea.
whatever we could find.
Yeah, we used like red sunglasses as a gel filter because we didn't have the gel.
Yeah.
We made a dolly out of oil once. It was pretty like just cooking oil sliding the camera.
No, truffle oil, was it?
I know it was a big scandal because like
it was so expensive.
Like,
the truffle oil.
Dolly. So I told like the grip like go get some oil from the kitchen because like I thought we could just like slide it on the table. Oil would make it move slowly, and then he grabbed the most expensive oil from Sean's kitchen and poured out an entire bottle of truffle oil on the fucking table. And I was just like, no, and it smelled so bad.
And I'm guessing that there was plentiful olive oil, any other oil.
Yeah,
and he was like, that one.
Yeah, grab some cheap like oil, some canola. The dude grabbed truffle oil and then like poured out the whole bottle and just reeked like all over the camera gear.
I find for my stuff, which is much simpler, but a selfie stick, either for filming like live events and stuff, it's like the greatest invention ever. But I said backstage once, I said, "Oh, I got to find my selfie stick," and someone went, "A selfie stick?" And I was like, fuck off.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah. However you get it done is how you get it done. And
I will say though, I am like too embarrassed to take a selfie in public. Like whenever you see someone taking a selfie in public, it's kind of like catching someone masturbating or something. It's like awkward. I don't know. Some people are really shameless about it. They'll just be like out at lunch, like taking selfies and posing. And I find it too embarrassing. It's like something I do is awkward. Like a little secret in my house.
Yeah, and the house is perfect. Jack, how are you with that? Can you do a selfie in public, or do you want to?
No, I feel a little embarrassed too. If somebody else initiates it and like get in, I'm like, okay, great. But I would never take like. I would be a little embarrassed for sure.
I've tried to challenge
and
myself
not a
to do it a
whole
little
lot
bit more.
Embarrasses me, and that
what else embarrasses you?
Not a whole lot, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
If I am wearing something and it's not particularly complimentary to my shape, that would embarrass me. If I get excited and I was born with a tail, and if it wags, I get embarrassed because I don't want anyone to know I have a tail.
Well, it's good you didn't tell anyone about it in this chat.
Fuck.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Delete everything.
Medical deformity.
Yeah.
Delete everything.
As Cronenberg fans, we're fans of that. So.
Oh, 100%. You're giving me ideas, Jack. Now I want to put like a prosthetic tail on you.
You had a tail. Did you have a tail for something? No, it was the spine.
I had the vertebrae, like the pointy vertebrae. It was
the spine.
Oh yeah. No, we did give you like a CGI alligator tail.
Oh yeah, I had a tail. It was CGI though.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You dip it into the CGI. When CGI is used discreetly, it's great. Like when you don't have any idea. When CGI is used discreetly,
that's the only time we've ever used CGI, and it sort of fit the video. But normally we're pro like making everything real.
Actually, the mantis CGI, like the mantis arms on you, was so good that everyone thought it was just like puppets, like makeup.
Yeah, my mom was like, "How did you do that?" I was like, "What the fuck do you mean?" Like it was on a computer. She's like, "Oh, I thought you did prosthetics." I was like, "Thanks, but no, that was." But normally we do everything real.
I was so happy with those shots. I think those are some of
Yeah.
my favorite shots we've done. Is
I
you
was
as a
pleased with that
mantis.
video.
And
That might this
before you had to be like naked. You were like completely ass naked in front of the whole
yeah.
crew.
Uh,
Always.
and then we had to break and everyone had lunch and I'm like fully naked. So I'm like, well, I'm obviously gonna wait to eat my like Taco
Yeah,
Bell
you
like
didn't eat all day.
until after like we get this shot done because I was already like holding it all in, and like I also had to like do my arms a certain way for the scene. I was like, fuck my fucking life. I just like
Yeah, we were like, stop twisting your arms.
I was like, I was like, I think I got a little hangry.
Are you fans of the Michael Mann film Manhunter? Either of you?
I
I
haven't
haven't
seen
seen
it.
it.
Ooh, I think you'd like it a lot. It's the
Have you seen
first.
Mandy?
No, I have to see that. I'm a little behind
Mandy's
on
lit.
newer films. That's why I was like, Tar, I saw a new movie.
Oh,
I
you
saw a
would
new...
love that director, Panos Cosmatos. He does
Mhm.
like he did like Beyond the Black Rainbow.
That's another one that's on my list, and I gotta move it up the list. I've been
Oh,
watching.
I love him.
I've been watching
He
tons
he's
of.
actually the reason why that I like started shooting on digital, like because it was the only time it was the Alexa, the camera, the Alexa that he uses, and it's the only time I've seen digital look like more or as beautiful as real film, because normally we would shoot real film, but Mandy really sold me on the Alexa, and Beyond the Black
Yeah.
Rainbow just looks so good paired with vintage lenses.
Okay, I think the lenses are key with that, right?
Yeah, but the sensors in the Alexa are really special. It's so creamy. It's like one of the only digital cameras that have appreciated in value, whereas almost all digital cameras, as soon as they come out, like are worth half the price
Oh,
because the
sure.
technology is always like making them obsolete. But that's the one that actually increased in value because it's just so beautiful.
Something I love is the Filmic Pro app for iPhone because you can shoot.
Oh yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
it's really good. When did you start? What was the first time you used film that you actually shot film?
Is she frozen?
I think she froze. I'd like to say
Oh,
paused in thought, but
Oh wait, there she is.
there she is. Oh, so I was
oh yeah,
curious.
you guys totally froze. I didn't hear anything you said. My internet connection is unstable, like
Uh-oh.
me.
That's perfect. We're all unstable and we're all on the internet. So I was wondering when you first shot film, like yourself.
Oh, I'd been making like short Super 8 and 16 millimeter films since I was like 19. My first one got into con actually, like which
Pretty
was
good.
kind of a fluke.
Yeah,
It's kind of a fluke, but it was like screened next to like Argento and stuff for this like this alcohol company sponsored like these minute-long films by like Lynch and Argento, and then somehow I got to get in that mix. I think I just weaseled my way into that somehow. And we got flown out to con, and like it was kind of fun, but then I realized, oh, con is not as cool as it was in my mind. Like it's actually just like totally Euro trash. It's just we were like playing a gig there to like make it worth going all the way out, and that was like back in my acoustic like accordion days, and they were like blasting techno in this club and everyone was like raging to techno, and then it was just like record scratch like screech to a halt, and then I get up with this accordion and everyone's like looking at us like, boo, get off the stage. It was like so awkward. It was the worst gig ever.
So it sounds like it's a South Beach party, but it's just in Cannes. And then there's movies shown sometimes to some people who might be interested.
Yeah, it's very like nouveau riche plastic surgery, like techno vibes in con. I thought it was going to be this like epicenter of like cinematic culture or whatever. It definitely was not that.
It's like a who's who sightseeing thing.
Oh yeah.
Very nouveau riche.
It's Miami. It's very Miami.
Okay. I loved seeing old footage in the Canon Films documentary about how those guys would go to Cannes and they would sell films based on posters. So they just had like these ideas and they would just sell the foreign rights and that would fund the films. And they'd be
That's
all
genius.
kinds of, it is, isn't it? Those guys had a lot of great ideas, a lot of bad movies.
Oh, you mean before they made the movie?
Yeah. So Menachem Golan and
That's amazing.
Yoram Globus, yeah, they would fashion a poster, and with some star like either Charles Bronson, who was their main guy, or like Steven
Before the star
Dudikoff.
even agreed to it.
Yeah, or I think so. a lot of times.
That's genius. Wait, Jack, this is like some of the schemes that you and I have been like
I'm
plotting.
cooking.
This is
We've been
fantastic.
plotting some schemes that we can't exactly divulge to you, but that's very along those lines. In fact, I had a friend who escaped the Hasidic Jewish community in New York. Like he was like in a betrothed marriage, like arranged marriage and all this stuff that he like got out of. And but before he left, he conned all of them into, he invited them all to like this abandoned like warehouse building that he had set up a bunch of his friends with tables and telephones, and they were just calling each other from across the room to make it look like the phones were like off the hook ringing all the time.
I love that.
And he was like, this is my wheelchair company, it's very successful, would you like to invest in it? And the elders of the community were like, oh, this seems really like happening. So they threw like $2 million at him, and it didn't exist yet, but then he had turned it into a very successful wheelchair company by doing that. So it was like kind of fake it. Now he's like the Tesla of wheelchairs.
That's
I
brilliant.
love scammers. I love scammers so
Yeah,
much.
but he made good on it, so it like wasn't really a scam. It was just like for a moment.
I'm like, don't even make good on it. Like, okay.
You're like, that's
just,
too
as
much.
long as you don't scam
Yeah.
me, I'm fine. But I'm pro scammer.
Yeah, well, that's why we're drawn to NFTs like very early on. We're like, oh man, we got to get in on this before
I
anyone.
remember when
NFTs.
you called me and you went, I gotta tell you something. This was like before it was like common knowledge. Jack, have you heard of something called an NFT? I was like, the National Football League? No. She goes, it's a picture, but you can't touch it, but you own it. I was like, that sounds so stupid. Let's do it. He's like, but you own it. I was like, but then anyone can say, yes, but you would own it. I'm like,
yeah. So
sad.
yeah, we wanted to like turn our music videos into like the first video NFT or whatever. And I remember like talking to this like one of the bigger companies in the beginning of that, and I think we weren't like famous enough, so they didn't like do it with us, but they ended up stealing my idea with some other artists. But yeah, we didn't end up doing it. And then like I tried making a couple NFTs like to like scam like rich crypto bros so we could like fund our videos that way. And then like I never sold one of them. Because I couldn't even advertise them, because like all of my fan base was like, how could you make NFTs? So I was just like gave up. Yeah. On to the next scam. Oh, the new scam that we're trying is like selling foot fetish photos.
Oh wow!
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's great. So where is that in the progress spectrum? How far along is that?
Well, I tried, and everyone said, "Honey, you'd have to pay me to get those
to look at those." Yeah, well,
I used to want to be a foot model.
I get so many DMs of people like asking to buy pictures of my feet, and I have like really like I have weird feet. They look like weird like alien rabbit feet.
You have cool feet and cool fingers, but I wanted you to do it, and then your boyfriend got mad at us.
Yeah, it was like a legit fight, because he was like, you can't sell photos of yourself for people to masturbate to. Like, no, I won't allow it.
Whatever.
I was like, but it's so wholesome, actually. It's just like pictures of feet, like my face and my other body parts wouldn't have to be in it. Like, it's like, that's pretty wholesome in a way.
Yeah, it's very wholesome, and it's just a celebration of the human body. That's how we can think of
it.
Right?
And I
that's a good,
Cronenberg
that's an LA spin on that.
Thank you. I love to spin things like that. It's very fun. And it makes difficult situations a little bit easier as well. I should start a company, a PR company that says makes difficult situations a little bit easier.
That is lovely. That's sort of the key to life, isn't it? You just got to spin it.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of the core of the thing that people say about like looking for not the silver lining, because that's, I find, a bit of a dire one, but people say about reframing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
that's if you the entire media, right?
If you can make a joke out of something, life gets a lot easier.
It does. And I was
what's that movie about World War II where, he's like a comedian and he's able to make his kids laugh, but they're in a camp and it's like really tragic. But
well, there's two of them. There's one that there's not to be released until I think like 2 years from now. that Jerry Lewis made called The Day the Clown Cried. That was like legendarily horrifically bad. Harry
Sounds
Shearer
amazing.
apparently saw it. I know. I cannot wait to see it.
I
That
love bad
sounds
movies.
incredible.
Oh yeah, and then there's Jacob the Liar, which is Robin Williams doing a kind of similar thing. But then there's Life is Beautiful.
I'm thinking of like the beautiful life, beautiful. No, what am
Life
I
is
thinking
Beautiful.
of?
Life is Beautiful.
Life
with
is Beautiful. Yeah, he's like a
I never
comedian
saw it. I know.
in Dark Times or something.
Yeah.
And I just, it's like kind of a good. It's a relevant moral for now, I guess, because the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and you have to find the humor in things.
You do, and you also
Mhm.
have to find the stuff that like you dig, like bad movies. You just said you love bad movies. I love a terrible film, so I need to
I
know.
love terrible movies.
Do you
Oh.
like the Room?
I do like The Room. I resisted seeing it for a long time because too many people said, "Oh, you like this kind of movie? You got to see The Room." And I went, "No, I'm a little oppositional defiant with that kind of
You're
stuff."
just contrarian like that,
Same.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
now it's a whole thing, but I remember when I first saw it, like it was before they made like the spoof on it, and, like before it was like really a thing, and I just remember like screaming with laughter all night. I was like visiting my dad or something, and I kept
It's so
him
good.
awake all night. I was like in my like bunk bed, like watching it scream, howling. And then the next morning, I researched it, and like there were all these theories that it was like a money laundering scheme because like there's no way it could be a real movie, that it was used to like launder drug money or something. Like there was just funny conspiracies about it, and I became kind of obsessed with Tommy Wiseau, and it's very Ed
I
Wood.
did not
like
get her.
obviously,
I did not. Oh,
yeah, like they would never do more than one take, but like he had all this like money to make it weirdly, like, but it just went in the wrong places.
Yeah, and
My
there
favorite is the
a-
mom who has cancer. She says she has cancer, and then they just never talk about it again.
Yeah, that's
just,
the weirdest scene. She's like,
That's my
"Well, I
favorite
went
part.
to the doctor. I definitely have cancer," and then
I
like
def-
they just never address it again.
they never,
And her
It's when she
delivery
goes-
is so strange.
It's when she goes, I definitely have cancer. It's like, it's the definitely. Well, I definitely have cancer.
It's almost like, well, we
That's a
definitely
genius movie.
the lease is definitely signed. Like it has that
Yeah.
kind of delivery
And then it's
to
like,
it.
oh, hi, Mark. And then it just never gets talked about it again.
There's also strange things like, as I'm sure you already know, but there's extensive use of blue screen or green screen.
Yes, on the roof.
Yeah, for no reason. And
For no reason, yeah.
yeah, and then also, at least for a certain time, possibly the whole filming, he shot on film and on the most expensive digital setup.
Yeah, he spent like a lot of money making that. That's what's so bizarre and sparked all the conspiracies. Like, it's yeah, it's wild. He spent like a few $1 million on that like piece of garbage. The green screen's really funny because we like for simulator experimented with a green screen, like my my bat shots, and I gotta say the green screen was like not the way to go, because Jack's praying mantis shots we did just against black and it looked so much better, and then everything shot on a green screen just looks so 1980s like junky.
There's a hue of green, and I was bamboozled by that. But
yeah, like the cutout just doesn't quite read to the eye. Well, we're
hit
so
right.
spoiled now with like James Cameron level like CGI.
Yeah, no, definitely. I know when I was when the pandemic
my
started,
mortal enemy, James Cameron.
Oh wait, so tell me more of your thoughts on James Cameron.
No, I like him. I don't know.
The Terminator is
No,
great.
we saw Avatar 2 at on Christmas, and I definitely went in, like wanting to hate it, but you know, I think anyone who's like actually tried filmmaking, you develop a new appreciation just for like the accomplishment of having made anything, even if it's kind of shitty. Like,
even if it's The Room.
And they really did make some amazing visuals. It's not my cup of tea. It's very like cheesy, obviously, and mainstream. And I think the script writing and dialogue is usually god awful with that kind of stuff. But just like the scale at which they made these visuals and innovated new technology is very impressive. And all the new motion capture shoots come from James Cameron. Like all of this technology that we're wanting to experiment with for live shows, like. Our other band member Jack Helfrich, like his friend does a lot of like motion capture and live like puppetry of avatars on the screen behind you, and we wanted to try that like for a live show. We thought it would be cool, and that all comes from Cameron. And and you know, the government actually like enlisted him to help figure out all the oil spills and stuff because he innovated so much aquatic technology for
Oh yeah,
Oh, for the Abyss.
I remember that.
in the Abyss. Yeah, like he innovated all this like aquatic technology that they used for those oil spills and the military.
I saw like some clip of that. Yeah, you're right. I remember that.
Speaking of
James
the movie,
Cameron, man.
so the movie that you're considering making, I'm hoping that it's the as to be maybe written or discussed Tommy-like rock opera
Yeah.
that you mentioned in that other interview.
Did you know we wanted to do Tommy, or you just like?
No, we said it in another.
Okay, I was like, wow, you're psychic. Yeah, no, that would be our goal. I think that's what we're gonna do the end of this year. Like, hopefully, that's what we're planning on doing. And the definitive like modern rock opera, that's like the Tommy of our era, and we're gonna try to coerce all of our friends to have a cameo.
That's
you got to be in it, Craig.
I would love to be in it. I would absolutely love to be in that. I've
wanted be the Acid Queen.
Oh, please, that'd be fantastic. Yeah,
be Tina Turner's part.
At least let me voice an animated character. If yeah, but I'd love to be in that. Thank you.
All right. You got the job.
It could be god awful, but
that's even better.
I'm hoping it's a little awful, just a smidge awful.
We've never done proper dialogue, and like directing abstract visuals is one thing, but like doing proper scenes and dialogue is I mean, we've kind of fucked around with that like in a joking way, like when you were like Nancy Reagan and for our rockumentary, but like doing a feature film is like kind of a big step. So it could be like a total like The Room. It could end up like The Room, but actually I would be proud if it ended up like cult level bad. It's either got to be amazing or like so bad it's like famous for being bad.
Yeah. I never saw that Jane's Addiction movie, and I keep meaning to dig it out, find it somewhere. I think it's called The Gift or something like that.
Oh,
I don't
yuck.
know. I'll report back. I'll send it to you. If
they called it The Gift?
I think so. Yeah.
Wait, what is The Gift referring to? Like,
I'm not sure.
Their penises, I'm sure.
Is it like a venereal disease?
I swear to God, it's their dicks or their music is a gift.
No, the gift of like singing and their craft. No.
Yeah, there's so many jokes that can be made. You can see it's difficult to name something because you don't want anyone to make a joke like a gift worth returning. Like
that
writes itself.
You know what? We're friends with those guys though, and they're very nice, and that band is very cool. So I'm not gonna shit on their title. Like I don't know what The Gift is referring to.
No, I don't either. I have a feeling
they're a cool fucking band.
Yeah, no, they're super cool. And I remember when my brother came
I don't know
home
them, but if I
Nothing
met them,
Shocking
I'd be like, "Why'd you call your movie The Gift?"
Let me just double check that that's what it is to spare you that.
And his wife is.
His wife
is really hot too.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, she is very, very,
She's
very
so
hot.
I think they have fun.
I think they seem like they have fun. I heard them on Howard Stern, and I was like, they have fun. I remember I saw that
they have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've almost had some fun with them.
Oh, that would have been a lot of fun. That sounds like it would have been a lot of fun. So okay, so it's clear that you're open. You like to play around no. Strike that from the record.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Okay, you were talking about like playing bocce ball and stuff like that.
Can you see I'm turning red?
Yeah. She meant Chinese checkers.
Oh, of course. I forgot. That's that's I've been in London. I forget what the American slang is lately.
They spoiled your mind over there, Craig.
Yeah, it's what they do. The beef pies and all that's in the tea. I can't keep track of
Who
the
can
thing.
say no to a good beef pie?
Well, because Ada and I are non-monogamous and all that stuff. So whenever I hear a taste of something, of course I misread it. You're talking about board games. I go, oh well.
Yes.
That's really funny. No, yes. I think I'm kind of like that old Jewish married couple from The Princess Bride when he's like, she's not a witch, she's my wife, and they're like always yeah, like I think that the extent of our kink at this point of our relationship is like watching cat videos.
Cat the famous dominatrix? No.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
We're like,
Jack,
honey, look, did you see this like other cute animal video? Like that's like
right now I'm into
married
sending
life.
these memes to Ada that are like these cartoon characters that are like 4-panel drawings that say like just like sweet little things like, oh, uh this is nice, this is nice, this is nice, everything is nice with you, those kind of things, like those
Oh,
little
that's so
sweet.
sweet.
It's
Aw.
That's really cute.
Jack,
I
what's
don't
your
know. I
dating
pride
situation?
myself on being like the really dark meme lord of my friend group. So I've got a lot of like group
She's
threads
got some
going
good
with like
ones.
competitive meme sending. You've
That's
got some
She's
good
got
memes,
some good
Jack,
ones.
but like I've got some other like more internet broy like
You have some like
threads.
disgusting memes you've sent me that are vile, and I'll be with my family and like, oh, Charlotte,
Yeah.
okay. Oh
Oh
my
no, it's stuff I
god,
could
and
never like
like,
post or show to the public, but it's like really like dark and
or I
foul.
just gross.
I
Gross.
consider myself a connoisseur of internet pond scum.
A
Mhm.
connoisseur, more like it.
Connoisseur.
Private comedy is what I like to call that. I will have to send you
Private comedy.
a
That's a good name.
is
See, Jane's Addiction should have named their movie Private Comedy. That's a great name.
you can use that if you want for the
Yeah,
rock
it's still
opera.
available.
I like Private Comedy.
Private, let's see,
But
Jane.
it's like a spin on like Private Benjamin or something. And it's like someone is in the army and they also want to be a comedian. Private
That
comedy.
it,
And then they like tell jokes to like keep the troops in good morale, or it writes itself.
it writes itself. It's a combination of Life is Beautiful, Private Benjamin, and Punchline, the Sally Field Tom Hanks movie.
Yes. I love Punchline.
And now,
Unironically,
This
I
is a
really
good
like
pitch. It's a strong pitch.
thank you. I think we got something here. I think. What are a few of your favorite terrible films besides The Room?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Oh,
Jack?
I love Mommy Dearest.
Oh, that's
so
Mommy
so
Dearest?
much. I could quote the whole thing. It is so weird. It's like extremely terrifying, and it's not supposed to be funny, but it's hilarious. It's also
No
beautiful.
wire hangers.
Yeah, I mean, not like just so many good ones. I'm not mad
You
at
definitely
you.
don't relate
I'm
to the daughter
mad
in that.
at the dirt.
Do you?
Oh no, I'm Joan in that. Are you kidding me? Yeah, when you clean the floor, you have to move the vase. It's Barbara, please. It's so.
Oh yeah, the Barbara Please. That has infiltrated
Barbara,
the drag
please.
world for sure.
Because I am not one of your fans, mother. And then she slaps her across the face.
Two of my favorite scenes from that is when she's nearly chokes the daughter to death. And
yes,
then,
that's Barbara, please.
oh, that's the Barbara Please, right? And then the hatcheting the tree in the yard after the birthday.
Oh yeah, Hollywood
party.
royalty, and she's like, Dana.
Oh god, it's so good.
It's so bad. It's so good.
I think any like bad Nicolas Cage movie is also amazing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you see the one he
or
directed?
like Face Off is really like
yes,
so bad it's good. And you know what? One of my guilty pleasures that I rewatched recently was Trapped in the Closet, that R. Kelly film.
Yeah,
R. Kelly, the hip-hop
I don't even
film.
know if that's like bad. I actually think it's kind of a masterpiece. I mean, you can't say you like him anymore, so I know he's like fully a monster. But Trapped in the Closet it's like Twin Peaks or something. It's so good.
It's so highly bizarre. Yeah, I saw it once. I never saw the
Highly
follow-up
bizarre.
chapters. Yeah, it's highly bizarre. Have you seen The Apple?
Oh, the musical from the 60s? Yes, yeah.
What? Oh, I know it's the musical set in the long distant future of 1994.
But it was
Oh my
filmed
God,
like
no,
in the
I've never
70s or
even
the
heard of
60s,
this.
right? It's like
Yeah,
old.
late 70s. Yeah, late 70s.
Yeah,
In
I've seen that.
1994, they had like flying cars or something.
I think Beck was
I'm
playing
sure.
that on his like tour bus when I first saw it, and it was just so camp.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's really amazing. Yeah, and there's like dance sequences on carpet.
It's actually a good reference for our rock opera, Jack. It's like a terrible, campy rock opera.
I haven't even heard of it. I'm gonna check it out. I like that you said there's dance sequences on carpet.
Yeah,
it's like
they're in this, and actually Velvet Goldmine, in my opinion, took a lot of the dystopian looks, or like referenced that in The Apple. I mean, from the
Well, I
apple.
like
Yeah.
Velvet Goldmine, so I'll have to check it
Well,
out.
Velvet Goldmine was just like it was like a pastiche of like
I like
referencing
Velvet, like
all
in a
sorts of
serious
things.
way.
Like everything in it was a reference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think I saw it years before I saw the apple, and then when I saw the apple, I went, "Oh, that's where he got the look for like the modern, not Bowie, but but the popcorn hair
Yeah.
version of the guys who I can never remember his name."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the apple is great. It's so bad. But didn't the Velvet Goldmine director, didn't he also do Superstar, that like movie using
Yes,
all
about
like
Karen
Barbie
Carpenter
dolls,
with Barbie
about Karen
dolls.
Carpenter's like bulimia?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
movie is
Yes.
really good and very original.
Yes.
Like
It's
that's like
genius.
also kind of like bad good, I guess.
No, it is brilliant, and I think there might finally be a legal release of that coming out soon. Because
Oh, is it not? You can't like find it on
You
streaming
can
sites?
find it on YouTube, I think,
you can find it, but for
but it's
years
split
it was
up in parts,
suppressed. Yeah.
and it has like Spanish subtitles. But I think you can find it on YouTube
Oh,
because I
really?
watched it like a year. I had like a whole like Carpenter's moment like a year and a half ago, and I watched it.
Have you seen her like
Not
shredding drums?
Oh my God.
yes.
That drum solo is incredible. She was such a fucking great drummer.
She's a
She
beast.
was a good. She is one of my most favorite voices of all time. It's just so heartbreaking and
Mhm.
I know.
like
Oh,
and
the
then not
darkness
to
behind the purity.
this isn't a joke, but it's gonna sound like one, but like the hunger in her voice, you can like, I'm sorry. I mean that literally as like some sort of longing, but it's
And you mean it as a tribute, but it's also, yeah, it's
I
also,
do.
yeah.
It just
You
sounds
mean
really
you really
pumped
love
up, but
the sound of when someone eats a sandwich?
there's so much longing and like desire, like I'm starving, but
That's
it
why the
sounds
next
bad.
time when we record the Sparks cover, I'm not going to let you eat for like 3 days.
No, because I'll be an asshole if I don't eat. And we
I
all know
know.
that.
You don't eat for 3 hours, you get hangry. Me
I
too.
get hangry.
Oh, I get that way as well. I have to have like, well, here I've been having a beef pie when I wake up. It's like my regimen is immediately
Lucky guy.
the Lamactal beef pie and then the dexamphetamine and Xanax. So there you go, listeners. That's what's been going on with me.
Wow,
It's
breakfast of
delicious.
champions.
Thank you very much. And a large cup of tea.
And you
Yeah.
say you don't have your shit together.
Put it all in a smoothie.
Sounds
So-
like you're living the dream. You're living the American dream in England.
Thank you. That's right. Yeah. That that sounds like a good like song title or like yeah.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, because in England would be in parentheses.
Yeah. It's a very Sparks title, actually.
Oh, it is. It really is.
It's very Sparks.
So you're fellow Sparks fanatics, I'm guessing. You covered This Town Ain't Big Enough for Both of Us, which is no easy feat. So brava and bravo on that one. And then did you say you were going to re-record
it? Was a marathon learning that. We learned it like 2 days before the show, and it's like such a like if you fall off the rails of that, it's got all these like odd bars and stuff. It's like their songwriting is so like progressive.
It's like
yeah.
a car going down the wrong side of the highway 100 miles an hour with the windows down, and you're like, everybody good? Like after it finishes, you're like, okay.
Yeah, I think I lost the one at some point, like because we played it so much faster than we rehearsed it. I was just like,
we rehearsed it like much, and then like we start to do it, and I'm like, and it's so fast, and it's like it's the best ab workout you're ever gonna get.
And there's so many words too, and something I really
it's very
I've kept
sesquipedalian.
So we've done it twice live, and the first time I got all the words, and I was like really proud of myself, and then the second time it was so much faster, and I just kept repeating the same verse over, and then I noticed I was doing it, so I tried to like changed how it sounded so the audience wouldn't know. I like use like different
So you're like Toiger instead of Tiger.
Hide to hide the fact that I was repeating the same verse a few times.
But it's cool. It kind of made you sound like schizo, like in your vocal
I'm gonna
dynamics,
keep it for the next time we
I really
do
like
it,
that.
Oh, thanks, babe.
It makes it your signature on that. Now, did you say you're going to be recording that cover, or you're going to be recording another Sparks song?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that. I don't know. We're doing something. We're doing something.
Okay, you're doing something. At some point. That's what we're going to say. That's the definitive
Yeah.
statement on that. You're going to do something at some point.
Things will happen.
Yeah. Things are transpiring.
Well, I'm very excited about that. I love Sparks. I finally, well, I know, not finally.
We put the trans in transpiring.
Now that's a slogan, if ever I heard one.
That's nice.
Have you gotten to see Sparks live?
I've never seen Sparks live.
Oh,
I
okay.
wish.
But I want to go.
Like,
they're going on tour, and I want to be on that tour. So I'm putting it out into the world right now that I want to be on that tour.
I think it would be a good
It's the only
match.
tour we want to do this year for sure.
Like, yeah, that makes sense. I got to see him 3 times, and it was good.
Oh my God, stop bragging. I'm so jealous.
First I had to brag about my medication ritual, and then this.
Yeah.
So
Your therapy,
Dude,
it's just, you got it, man.
You're having all the fun.
I know.
You're having beef pies every morning.
I mean, I know it's like a total luxury, right? Now, what's your breakfast of choice? Like, what do you need? What's your morning ritual to, like, get into your day? And we'll start with Charlotte.
Ooh, well, I actually really love breakfast, and I love a big breakfast. And when David and I used to hang out all the time and would be in the recording studio, we would cook like massive breakfasts. And I was really into making like goat milk chai, where I would like boil cinnamon and cardamom and cloves with goat milk, and then like add chai and stuff in, and like eggs and avocado and toast and everything. But realistically, like now, I just don't do breakfast. I have like one big meal a day, and when I do eat, I just shove shit down my face because I'm so hungry. But like I'll eat around like 5-7 p.m. and I don't have time for breakfast, but that's not healthy. Jack?
I mean, I was gonna say you don't really get into it because you're always awake. So it's like she catches a few hours of sleep here and there, but the train is always moving.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that more common?
But don't rule out breakfast at midnight. Like breakfast at midnight is slamming.
Yeah,
it is.
I prefer a breakfast for dinner because, as I said, I like a beef pie for the morning time. And
Jason Craig,
right? Hey, Jack, what's your morning situation like? What's the best setup for you?
Just what I eat in the morning of orphans. And I have a glass of children's tears to get it down my throat. Yeah,
adrenochrome.
No, I have a queer little like morning ritual. I like do my stretches and I like pray and I meditate and
iced coffee. Don't
really
forget
helpful.
The iced coffee.
Oh, iced coffee to help it all stay tight.
That's the gay joke.
You know, I know. I was gonna say this is a queer regimen.
Iced coffee.
Check this out.
I had to tell people this, Craig. They were like, "Is iced coffee gay?" I was like, "Iced coffee is hella gay."
Oh yeah, it's a staple of gayness.
Iced coffee is a queer ass thing.
It is. And when I went to DragCon recently, I was showing up a little later than start time, and then I passed the Starbucks, and I thought, "Oh, good, I'll get one for me, and I'll get something for Ada." And I went to the door, and it said, "We are totally out of," and that was underlined. Underneath it, it said oat milk, rice milk, every milk substitute you could imagine. And I went, I've never seen this before. It's the queer event. They've sold out.
Because you were at DragCon and all the gays were like, "Give us all the ice."
Yeah,
they didn't have like human breast milk.
Sadly, no. I think they had run out of that. Ada had some, but we had to keep it for our son.
Sean says human breast milk is like the best milk he's ever tasted.
Really? Yeah.
His friend like gave him some of hers.
Some people make products with it, like cheese and things.
Yeah, I tend to like
not to have it
milk anymore so much. I do oat milk. It tastes so good. Oat milk. It's the only like alternative milk that doesn't like coagulate when you pour it in shit.
Oh yeah, that's an unfortunate look when you look down and there's like a little cluster. I can't seem to do oat milk with tea. I've tried it, but I just go for the lacto-free milk. The thing is, over here they don't know what iced tea is. They have a couple.
Yeah.
No,
that's
not a thing. When I lived there and I was from Texas, I was like, "Oh, some iced tea would be nice." Everyone was like, "Iced tea?"
Is the vegan trend like happening in England?
Oh, massively! Like
I think
in
it's
London,
bigger in England.
Is it bigger? Because I know in LA it's like really easy to be vegan.
I think in England it's way bigger.
It is. There's like
especially in like South
posters.
England, I would imagine.
But England's like known for like masochistically horrible food. Just like,
Yeah.
here's some dry beef Wellington, kid.
Or like
Sorry, that was not a very good British accent.
well, that's okay.
That was
You were saying
perfect. What do you mean?
yeah, it was dead on. It was dead on. Let's see the what region was that? Not Liverpool,
Yeah,
but
right.
Scunthorpe.
Liverpool. Scunthorpe.
It's a classic Scunthorpian accent.
Liverpool.
The thing about the food here, it's actually strange now. It seems, I think at one point someone tapped someone else on the shoulder and said, "We've got to do something about this." They're right. It's really bad. Okay.
Yeah, I think like recently they addressed all the shit talking about England's food, because I remember like touring there once and it just been really god awful. And then the last time I went back, I was like, oh my god, there's all these like Michelin restaurants now. Like there's good Japanese and stuff. Like, but that
There's
was like
really good Japanese food and Indian food.
Oh, the
you
Indian
used to
food
want,
is...
as a musician, you wanted to blow up in France.
Oh,
you
yeah.
didn't want to like blow up in England, because then you had to like tour there and eat the food. It was so much better to like tour
I was
France.
gonna ask why. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, all the best bands come out of England for sure, but like,
yeah,
touring is so much nicer in France.
There's a couple of great Kink songs on the Everybody's in Showbiz album, and they're just about road food and
I love
how
that
bad it
title.
is. What's that?
That's pretty fun. That sounds like a Ween album.
I love that
like
album
Ween,
title.
right?
That's great. Everybody's in Showbiz.
Isn't that good?
That
Yeah.
also sounds kind of Sparksy as well.
Very
It does. Yeah. Now we see the world through the lens of the Spark. Everything's like the Sparks album name.
When I was watching,
Totally.
or not watching, I was playing their stuff on Apple TV, and I've listened to them for ages, but I never realized how many lyrics are in their songs, and like they never seem to repeat, even the sort of quote unquote more simple ones. They just keep going on. I think my favorite one might be Tits. That might be my favorite.
Tits is good.
It's really
I like
good.
Balls.
So to the point. I love it.
I like When I'm With You. I like Music You Can Dance To.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
That's such a great passive aggressive response to their record label.
Yeah, that was genius.
They're like, oh, you want some dance music? Okay.
By the way, they're doing that song again. They did it when I saw them last year.
I love that song.
Yeah, and I think that era they kind of skipped over for a while, but after the documentary,
really?
They started. Yeah, they even played Wonder Girl,
because they talk about it a lot, like that specific era, a lot in the documentary.
Yeah, I thought it was really.
What's the song about heaven, or like there's some song with heaven in the title. It's like
number one song in heaven.
Number one song in heaven.
Number one song in heaven. Yes, it's so good. But they're like bizarrely prolific. So when I first knew about them before the documentary, the only song I knew of theirs was This Town. And like they were kind of like really unknown. And that was like, and if they were known, they were known as a one-hit wonder with that song.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to all of us, they have the most vast, extensive, impressive catalog. And then when the documentary came out, of course, now we all know that they have like 10 million amazing records, but like, it's just, no wonder they were so like bitter, like about like being so underground for so long. They were like so prolific and so amazing.
And when the movie shows
Sing My Way, it's about that.
That's incredible. And also when the movie kind of shows you that the guy or girl with the other one on synth thing, you're like, oh yeah, wait, they did do that before everyone else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What, you mean the all-girl band?
No, like just the two guys on stage with like backing tracks, and one of them on synthesizer, kind of expressionless, and then a singer who's very emotive. So like before Yaz, before Erasure, there and before Pet Shop Boys, there was Sparks doing the disco stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, they invented disco. Right. They do, like, it's rumored that they invented new wave, and like
I think they definitely were a big player in new wave for sure.
And that they invented Queen, like before Queen, that whole
and Pet Shop Boys and like all totally.
And of course discovered by Todd Rundgren. Who are
and Todd Rundgren.
Oh, they also had that robot. Didn't they have that Robot Girl song like long before? Computer Girl. Computer Girl,
something like Robot.
Kraftwerk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right. Yeah. I think so.
But Todd Rundgren did produce their first album, and he gave them like a big Running Start. Good old
Yeah.
Todd, eh?
Yeah, good old Todd. He's the
What's
reason why
that?
Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf ever saw the light of day as well. He bankrolled it. Yeah, so he's given the culture a lot of gifts. But
he's an Austinite now. He owns
oh
this
wow,
club called well, he bought into this club called Emos, which we played at before the pandemic. But growing up, it was like, yeah, we're going to Emos, and
well,
it was like cool.
I remember hearing about that place, and
Ugh,
I've
I
actually only
actually
been to
hate
Hobby,
emo music.
Texas.
It's
I've
not
never been
emo
able to
music.
get
It's
into
just
it.
called Emos.
Emo is
But
the
yeah,
one stripe of pop music, if you want to call it that I've never,
yeah.
ever been able to get
It's not
into.
for me.
I'm glad you say that because it's coming back with a vengeance, and I see all of these like Gen Zers on TikTok like dressing and singing emo, and I'm just like, why? Of all the things to bring back, like
Yeah, pop punk.
why? Good Charlotte Panic at the Disco type stuff,
Yeah,
like
Really,
yeah.
the names are always too long, and the songs are a little bit too screamy and not the right way, I
And I
think.
also think of them all as the same band. Like I
Hmm.
can't tell anyone apart. Like Doja,
Yeah.
this isn't even pop punk, honestly, but Doja Cat did a cover of Celebrity Skin by Hole, Courtney Love, which is not it's like that's a pop song. And everyone's like, Doja Cat just released this pop punk anthem. Like, I can't believe it. And everyone's like, I have no idea who Hole is or anything.
Well, there's a strange
I thought her cover was great.
I like the cover.
the
I
cover's
have a
great, but
major crush on Doja Cat.
I
an
love Doja Cat.
understandable one. But there's a
Yes.
strange thing too, where there's people who want to imagine that someone does something like a video album. They're like, it's the first video album ever made.
Yeah, right.
Not really. The early '80s was
No,
plagued
no
with
one's
that.
the first anything. It's all been.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that? In terms of the idea that
Well, we had the first vertical 16 millimeter music video
We
ever
did
made.
have that.
well, see that's
That is a fact.
pow. Yeah.
But no, you're right. There's really no first. There's just zeitgeists, and you
Yeah.
know, like I feel like the artists that actually are really successful are like the second or the third to do something, because
Yeah,
you
that's
never
true.
hear about the first person to do something.
Yeah,
They're the
just like
ones that like inspire the bigger artists to do it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like we heard about what we were talking about with Sparks.
And Queen.
What are a few favorite artists now, Charlotte? You said you don't listen to music. Is this something that started pretty early after writing your own music, or is it something that has crept up on you as you've been making
Oh
more
no,
and
no.
more?
I used to listen to music all the time. Yeah, I guess like one of my favorite all-time albums would be the first album by King Crimson, Court of the Crimson King.
Are you excited about the new King Crimson documentary?
Yes, I am.
I didn't
Have
know
you
there
seen Robert
was
Fripp and
one.
his wife? They're so cute.
Oh yeah, Toya.
Yeah, them on social media is the cutest thing.
I
Oh
think
yeah, you
Toya's
showed me that. They're really cute.
they're
They're so
adorable.
cute.
The
And
like
it's so fun.
covers they
Um,
do or something.
Yeah, they do covers, and it's so
yeah,
fun to see Robert
Yeah,
Fripp
I
in a
love
very
her. I love her. She's
he's so
really like hamming it up. I love it.
and her looks throughout the years have been fantastic, and I love that
Yeah,
in
she's
that
beautiful.
setting Robert Fripp is like goofy and fun, whereas in King Crimson
Yeah.
he's absolutely not. There's just nothing
Yes.
like
I
frivolous
agree.
about him.
yeah.
Apparently the documentary takes a turn at a certain point, so I've been advised by the director to see it in a theater. So
Okay.
Toby Amos, I believe, made it. So that's coming
I'll
up
be
very
seeing
soon.
it in theaters.
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm
So
definitely going to see that. We went and saw together the new Bowie documentary that
The
came
Bowie
out. I
one,
mean,
yeah.
I'm woefully
We were
behind
like
in that.
sobbing.
we
Oh,
were sobbing.
We
I
were
mean, you know, all
crying.
those kind of music documentaries are always a bit kind of cheesy, but like it's still just so great to see footage of people you love. Like there was actually some footage I had not seen before of Bowie in that, which was not his best look. It was like him pretending to be mentally handicapped in a bathtub. He was like naked and be like, ooh, like and I was
No,
just like,
you're thinking of when he was in The Elephant Man on Broadway.
yeah,
He's
they
like,
showed footage from
yeah.
that in the documentary,
oh,
and
okay.
like it was pretty funny. Like I was like not expecting that.
Well, if you'd like, I'll send you this interview he did with Tim Rice, actually, about being in The
I
Elephant
love
Man.
Tim Rice.
Yeah, and Tim Rice is interviewing him about that because he was going to actually tour Scary Monsters, but then
Oh.
did Elephant Man, and what was I gonna say?
Oh, that film is so good. The Lynch
Am I
film.
wrong in saying that Tim Rice did the music for Cabaret? Is that correct?
No, that's Tim Rice did all the lyrics for most of the Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff, but you're thinking of
Yes.
I know who you're thinking of, and I can't Candor and Ebb. Candor
Like
and Ebb
Jesus
did
Christ
that.
Superstar.
No, it wasn't Candor and Ebb. I think it was.
He did the lyrics on Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it
and
wasn't Candor and, or maybe it was. I know like Liza liked Candor and Ebb, but I don't know if the movie was. Maybe it was. I'm thinking of maybe I don't know. Whatever.
listeners, write in and we'll address it. You know, it'd
Yeah,
be fun
someone inform me, please.
if the two of you join me on a movie club sometime. That would be great. So I pick a movie, like I just did one on
I would
Videodrome,
love that.
and
Yeah, I'm always talking about trying to do this like
We need
physically with my
separate
friends, like get a
episodes, though.
projector.
okay, sure, yeah, we'll
Yeah,
do separate episodes.
Whenever we
Yeah.
have free time, we have
Hers are going to
do
be
the movie
different
club.
than mine for sure.
Yeah.
I did listen to your movie one about Drop Dead Gorgeous. That was really fun.
Oh, lovely. Thanks. Yeah.
I love that movie.
It's a fantastic movie. And there's actually at New Beverly, for anyone in LA, they're doing a double feature of two movies mentioned in that. Bring It On and Get Over It.
Get over it. Amazing. But
Wait, you
Drop
mean
Dead
like those
Gorgeous.
like '90s cheerleader movies?
Yeah, New
Yeah.
Beverly, programmed by Tarantino because he owns it, is they're doing a double feature of that. They're doing a whole bunch
Oh,
of
have
yeah.
you seen But I'm a Cheerleader?
Yeah, oh great movie. Great movie.
That's so great. And I didn't realize RuPaul plays the
The conversion therapist.
camp counselor, which is so fun because
But,
I was so young when I
I'm a
saw it, I didn't even know
cheerleader.
who RuPaul is. But looking back, that's like a hilarious touch.
I love that.
But I'm a Cheerleader and Drop Dead Gorgeous are in a different league than Bring It On or something.
Yeah.
Drop Dead Gorgeous is legitimately like a mayor. I can. Like it's just so.
Oh, it's so brilliant and so dark, and one
Yeah.
wonders if it could get
I like
made
when
now.
Denise Richards has the gun. They could make it now. I like when Denise Richards has the gun and she goes, it's inscribed on my gun. Jesus loves winners. That's why when I shoot to kill. Boom, boom, boom. Like it's so fucking good.
Amazing.
And it's a
Yeah.
little too accurate. Well, yeah, we'll be in touch about movies because also if you wanted to record something at in the next week or 2 weeks, because I did something. I just did a show on Videodrome with Macy Rodman. So, but if you have you
Cool.
clearly love Videodrome a lot, so if you have other thoughts,
Yeah.
it'd be fun to incorporate them.
Oh yeah, I'm obsessed.
Mhm.
We were referencing that film a lot in our music video for Needle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Elliott Smith cover we did. We
Yeah.
we had like the VHS tape and like a lot of the
Oh,
body
right.
horror stuff.
Well, and actually, you know, some of the stuff you talk about and play with, like the AI and everything, it's kind of the Videodrome thing. You mentioned deepfakes before. We're really
Yeah.
getting into that now. We
Oh,
have been
yeah.
for a while. Yeah,
The
I'm gonna have to
technology is
rewatch-
getting so insane now.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the Needle video because sometimes I'm too close to something and I don't see a reference to it. You know what I mean? Like Videodrome is so like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It just phase cancels out whenever you see something.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
'cause
Someone will go,
You
"Oh,
see
that's
it
a
everywhere
reference."
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But then I'll see a reference to something else. I'm like, oh, that's like, for instance, the Velvet Goldmine thing. You know, because I saw the apple and I
Yeah.
immediately thought, oh, this. Yeah. But okay, so other rock musicals that you like?
How many are there?
They're usually terrible. Like honestly,
Yeah.
like it's funny that we're doing one because I really do think like they're usually pretty terrible, but they can be fun terrible. So I think like that's gonna have to be what we aim for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jesus
Tommy's
Christ
the
Superstar.
best, but
Yeah,
Jesus
Tommy is
Christ
the best.
Superstar is good.
That's really good. Actually, the music in that is like really
I
legit.
like
There's
the
this one
music in
7/8
Phantom
jam
of the
that is
Opera is good.
It's something that never got made into a full production, but I think it's on YouTube, the album anyway, called Flash Fearless and the Zorg Women. And it has John Entwistle involved and Alice Cooper does a number on it. So it's really,
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
it's
John
worth,
Entwistle.
Alice
He
Cooper
plays
just gets into
French
everything.
horn.
what's that? Sorry.
John Entwistle. He's actually like a classical French horn player.
Yeah, he does all the horns on the Who albums. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal talent in there.
Does he arrange that musical you mentioned?
He might. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to do. I have to go, as I'd like to say, go to the tape, Bob, as they say on sports
I
shows.
think, this one's like very obvious, but I think The Wall is like
Hmm.
actually
Oh yeah.
so good. And the trial, that scene in the end that's animated, um is just such a masterpiece of like the orchestral arrangement, and the animation is so psychedelic, and I just think like that's such a peak right there. Like if we ever had a serious budget, I would just fucking love to go for like The Wall.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I got to see it finally on the big screen last year, and it was really incredible. And also, they played it properly loud, like fuck
Good.
off loud. It
Yeah.
was
Oh, good,
perfect.
good,
Yeah,
good. I was
yeah.
really late to see it because I was like kind of trying to avoid like 80s Floyd. I was really into like Saucer Full of Secrets and Piper at the Gates of Dawn, like all the really early Sid stuff.
Hmm.
And so it took me a while to like embrace their later work, but holy crap, it's so good too.
I've tried with the final cut, but I can't quite get into that. And then I've also tried
Into
with
what?
the final cut, the one that they did after The Wall, which is really kind of a Roger solo
Oh, I
album.
haven't even like gotten into that.
I
Yeah.
don't even know what that is. Yeah.
I've tried, but I can't really. I've also tried with Rogers Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking. It's okay, but Radio
That's
Chaos
why
is
I thought
pretty
it was
good.
really funny when they like threatened to like I think when Spotify was going to have like Joe Rogan come on Spotify or something,
Oh
they
yeah.
threatened to take off all of their catalog from like 1985 onwards.
Who
And
cares about
and
that?
I was like, no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. I saw in quotes Pink Floyd sometime in the 90s or whatever without Roger Waters, and it was just weird. It was strange.
They have
Yeah,
this
I
one
just thought it
90s
was really
album that
funny to,
I really like called The Division Bell. I think
Hmm.
that's really good. It's like 90s Pink Floyd, but I like that album a lot.
I'll have to check it out. Well, also Bob Ezrin's heavily
I
involved in
was
that.
also like a major stoner at the time when I was like, this is amazing. And it's like the whole first song is like 20 minutes of like gong. And I'm like, whoa,
Well, and
oh
this
just
my
is
to,
God.
incredible.
and to
I
shift gears.
really,
Oh, go
I love
ahead.
animals
Animals is wild, and they played that in its entirety as we were sitting waiting to watch The Wall, which I liked because when you're sort of
with like Adam Hart Mother.
oh no, but they just played the Animals album straight through. I love Adam Hart Mother. I especially love
That one is good too. Oh my God.
yeah the small what's the small several small species of animals uh stuck in a cave playing with a pick. It's a song on Umaguma, and it's all sort of tape loops and strange
Yeah, I think
noises.
they're like zoo sounds on the Mellotron or something, because there's like on the original Mellotron with like the tape loops, there's like one sample that actually sounds like zoo animals or something. And so
Wow.
I think they were using some of that.
Oh, we mentioned Peter Gabriel before. I got to see this group called the Musical Box, which do or very faithful recreations of Genesis concerts, and they did The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and it was fantastic. But it made me think about
Oh.
all the problems that you would have when you would have a band that had a mellotron back then. Like the thing's too heavy. What touring life? What's that like for
It's so
y'all?
heavy and it
It's so
breaks all the
heavy.
time.
Yeah, it
I
breaks
think
all the time.
Yes, the band Yes are
Yeah.
the only ones that like tour with a real Mellotron still. Like we play with a Mellotron, but we use the digitized version that like we got from Marcus over at Mellotron. Shout out to Marcus. But and the digital version of the Mellotron is quite good and reliable, but like
Yeah.
the real one would be so pimp to play with, but you just know it's gonna break like halfway through a
It's
song.
gonna, and then everyone's gonna be sore from carrying it. So I feel
Well,
bad.
we used
Yeah.
to tour with a real Hammond organ, which took
That
like
was what I was about
five
to say. I was going to say
carry.
I always feel bad for Hammond players.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
it
would
took like
always.
four of us to put it on the thing. Like it was always just an eye roll.
Oh no, we still
Like
have like back injuries from that Hammond.
one
So
time
that's
we were
also
going to
another thing.
play in Canada and the Canadian border, we like roll up to they're very strict at the border. And we all kind of like turn our heads to the guy who's like doing the come in or out. We all look like nuts, like out of context. We just like, hi. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna need to unload your. So we had to unload the whole van. There was no like, we don't travel with drugs or anything like Not to
Yeah.
blow our cool street cred or anything, but so we took it all out, put it all back in, went to the gig, took it all out, took it all back in, like horrible.
It's
Horrible.
wild how strict they are at the Canadian border. So my folks are Canadian, and when I was a kid, we would go up there constantly because my dad is one of the eldest of 12.
They're so strict there.
It's you know what they used to do? They wouldn't even really make you stop. You'd be stopped, you'd be parked, but you'd be in the car running, and they'd lean over and they go, "Hi, how are you? Let me see your documents and whatever, your driver's license." And then usually it would be, "Okay, so what are you here for? Visiting family? Well, great." They tap the top of the car. "You have a great visit." Only once.
Yeah,
now it's crazy. Yeah, I went up with when I was going up with the band. They did the same thing. They musicians. As soon as they hear musicians, they pull you out, search for everything because they're like, "We're gonna get a drug bust." Which at this point,
no, I was busted at the border in my other band. We were opening for Beck, and they pulled us over and found just like some crushed up Adderall or something. Nothing like bad.
Yeah.
But they didn't know what it was because it was all like crushed, and
Sure.
so they pulled Sean away at gunpoint,
Oh my
and
God.
like with a gun, and like kicked him, threw him against the wall, like spread eagled, kicked his legs apart at gunpoint. I was like in tears because they were really like roughing him up. I mean, he's so good with authority. He just goes like fully like compliant, like, "Yes, sir, I'm not resisting, sir, I'm not resisting." And they were still like being fucking dicks. And then they took him to this back room for like 4 hours while I watched this other guy behind the counter like try to like analyze this powder and like flicking it and running under some shit for some tests or whatever. And it just took fucking hours. We missed the show. Beck had to end up opening up for himself like acoustically, which I'm sure people loved a bit. And then I was just like was convinced Sean would be like a hot woman in prison and was just gonna get like gangbanged. And so I was just like in tears. I was like, no. And then they realized it was like only Adderall, and it was like, and they finally let us go, but it was really scary. And they were really like, I don't know, it's Canada is just like, they really like to gatekeep themselves to the rest of the world.
Yeah, which is
I guess
strange
because they know how good they have it there.
Because they know what? Oh yeah, that's right. They know how good they have it there. It's strange, and that's all post 9/11 because one guy used Canada as the pass through to get into the States.
Yeah.
But like typically there's no reason to be doing that. But then you give authority figures with guns the license to do that kind of stuff. And I read no, I did read Ada told me the other day there's a new statistic that 1 in 20 homicides in the United States is by a police officer.
Well, you give people with a C average a loaded gun, and
yeah, I you know the school I went to.
It's not. It's kind of like it's it's not something we should go.
It's harder to get your real
estate
license than it is
but
to get your police.
It is. I read some article about how one guy was not even able to apply to be a cop because his IQ was too high, and he like kind of a whistleblower on all these like internal emails in the office of them being like, "No, we can't hire people above a certain IQ or whatever." I mean, that's not to say all cops are dumb. I'm sure some are lovely people, but like
there's some lovely cops, but
clearly they're selecting for a certain type of person, and then not paying them very well, so there's not a lot of competition for the job, and not a lot of good quality. Like I'm sure like there's lovely cops, like there really
absolutely.
are, but it's a really like it's a horrible job. I would never want to do that, and I think they're picking the wrong people to do it. If it were up to me, I would train them and like I would like pay them so well and hire only like make it so competitive to try out to be a cop, and then like train them in like the ways of Gandhi and like philosophy and martial arts, and just make them be like super warriors / philosophers that can make split second like life and death decisions like from a place of enlightenment and just like have them be paid so well that everyone is like on their best fucking. But you know, we have kind of the opposite situation, so it's like it's a really fucked. Teachers also. That's also the other most important job in America, and we don't.
The most important job, and they get. I would go to bat to say that it is the most important job.
Mm-hmm.
If we put a down payment on education, I guarantee you, like for real educate, I guarantee you in 20 years there'd be significantly less violence
Mm-hmm.
or war or whatever. Like, yeah.
No, all
Yeah.
over. If they, and also over here, there's the Tory government, which looks like cuddly in their
Yeah.
shittiness compared to the right wing in the States.
Compared to the American neo right wing.
Exactly. But they're still bastards, and they keep trying to screw the NHS, which is the greatest thing in the world. And it takes an American a while to get used to it. Yeah, it's incredible. But you lived in England for a while, Jack, right?
Yeah, I did. I lived in Liverpool for like 3 or 4 years.
How was your healthcare there, Jack?
It was great. I was also like 18 and like super healthy, so I didn't
right.
But it was really great. My only complaint, there was very long lines. But other than that,
very long queues.
Very long queues. Actually, I remember like my first days there, I couldn't understand. Okay, so I was thinking like it's England. It's not that different than America. Like it's a totally foreign when you're like really living there. I was like, oh. And so I was trying to be cool like one of my first days, and everyone kept calling a pound, they call it a quid.
Right.
I didn't know that. So I kept being like, oh yeah, I mean that bread is only like 5 quill. Because I was thinking like Harry Potter, like a quill.
Oh my god!
And everyone went, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, like 5
That's so Paris Hilton of you. I love it."
And they were like, "Oh my god, he's so American. He's calling it a quill." I was like,
I was touched
you
by
thought like their currency's feathers in England.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I pay for my groceries in feathers.
Yeah.
But I loved living there. I love England. I would live there again.
Mm-hmm. And you're all in New York. And how long have each of you been in New York?
I just visited England. In fact, it was my friend's birthday out there. Do you know Amanda Fielding, who runs the Beckley Foundation that studies like LSD and consciousness?
No, but I would love to make acquaintances with them because it sounds like fabulous research.
She's like an eccentric British countess who was friends with like Timothy Leary and Albert Hoffman and Terence McKenna.
Wow.
And she runs one of the only like legal labs that is able to study LSD on the human brain, and is trying to put together like hospices and stuff, like therapy centers for the elderly that employ psychedelics and stuff. Like it's she's doing God's work, and they're very interesting, lovely people, and they live in this place called Stanway that's like beautiful. I think they shoot like period piece films there.
Well, I would love to get connected to that because I believe strongly in the psychedelic therapy, and also pre-proper diagnosis. Ketamine was sort of the relief valve for what I later discovered to be manic or
and actually the Brits
episodes.
The Brits love ketamine. I remember the first time I ever heard about ketamine was like in a British nightclub. I was like, what the hell is this? And they're like, it makes everything two-dimensional.
Oh my
God. But it turns out that it's actually a therapeutic thing, and it's being used now. I get ads on my Instagram for therapeutic ketamine, which I just think is so funny. Like now the world is like finally like it's into like microdosing and all this stuff is more accepted science.
Okay, microdosing and LSD, I can get so down with. I'm all for it. Ketamine is like, it's disgusting. And I remember first hearing about it in England too. I had like some guy I was fucking up with, and he was like, "Do you want some ketamine?" I was like, "What is that?" But sure. He was like, "What is that?" He was like, "It's like a horse tranquilizer." I was like, "Oh, what?" I was like, "No, I don't want that." Anytime I've been on I'm not, and it's 1, 2, or 3 times. I guess not that many, but I always vomit. I don't like it.
Oh no, yeah, it just I guess does not agree with some people because I've heard
maybe I'm not depressed, and so it doesn't work on me.
It doesn't work on you. Yeah, you have to be depressed.
because I don't have depression.
Yeah. So there I go bragging again. Um,
no, I'm bragging now too. Lucky me. But
see, there you go.
yeah.
We're bragging on opposite sides
No,
of
Jack is
the.
always a ray of sunshine. He doesn't need drugs.
Not
He's a
always.
lovely, happy, enlightened bubble of beauty that he brings
Wasn't
into our
always that
lives.
way.
We're always
Wasn't-
like dark, curmudgeonly, like Larry David, like griping about the world, and he's like so optimistic, and it's a
Well,
funny dynamic.
That's a nice balance, though. But Jack, you said you weren't always this way. So,
No, I
around
wasn't
what
always
age?
like that.
What would you
We
say?
got off of one, I think, like 25. I mean, I'm naturally inclined to be like optimist. I just am like that.
Yeah, you've
And like
always been that way.
when I was a kid, my mom has a story where she goes, "You'd wake up and like get out of bed and go, another day to be me," and I was just always like that.
Wow.
But of course, you like you get in your 18, 19, 20s, and everything is so serious. And I went to like a art conservatory, so everything was really serious and like pretentious and like ugh. And I think there was lots of like anger I had and still have, and sometimes it rears its ugly head after a drink or two. But I think it's gotten easier as I've gotten older. The more I realize that this is not real, like the more I sort of like come to terms with like, oh, and hallucinogenics help with that. I was like, oh, this is fake. Like this is a joke. Like this is like, oh my god, this is amazing. It's just a simulator, dare I say it.
Ah, and you had the amazing grace to discover that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, wait. I want to say something.
That was a clean
I
segue.
Thank you very much. What's that? What'd you say, Jack?
So I tore my, I have stitches right here, and I tore my hand open like last week, and it's the first time I ever got recognized by the first time for real recognized by the X-ray guy.
That's amazing.
Because they were checking if
The
there was any
X-ray guy was
glass.
like a big Uni scholar, apparently.
Yes, and
he kept cracking jokes with our song titles, right?
Exactly. So I go in and start checking if any glass got into my hand. He goes, "Well, looks like there's no debris."
How did you feel about that at the moment? Were you anesthetized?
Oh, it made my day. Are you kidding
Okay.
me? My hand was like fully open, and I was like bleeding everywhere. I was like, "This is the best day of my life."
Yeah. So cute.
I keep bragging about it to everyone. I'm like, I got recognized for the first time. Yeah, no, it was great. Are you kidding me?
I benefited from the largesse of a listener who worked for Virgin Atlantic when I was flying home right before the shutdown in 2020. I was still ill. I had a stomach thing that I didn't know what it was. But anyway, I was so freaked out by Heathrow being absolutely desolate when I got there that I just sailed through security in literally minutes that I left all my podcast gear in a case at security.
Oh my god!
I know. And so I'm on the plane. I actually started crying. I went, "Oh my god!" And then I asked the staff, "Pardon me, excuse me," and I explained my situation. Is there anything? Is there any way to get it? And they said, "We'll be right back. Thanks." Also, the plane was only like half full. So then a gay gentleman, I believe, came up to me and said, "What's your name?"
You know your podcast.
And he goes, "What's your name?" And I go, "It's Craig." He goes, "Okay, just a sec." They had it driven to the plane. I was like,
wow.
Are you
this
serious?
is the best. Yeah.
Pretty baller.
Right?
But Craig, I was excited to do, like when she reached out to me or connected us. I listened to your podcast before. Most of the time, we get things coming in like Scoopity Beep Bop Magazine. I'm like, what? I've never fucking heard of that. I was like, Craig and Friends. I was like, oh my god! Like I've listened to this episode. Like I was very, I.
Yeah, wait. Are you friends with Bishi?
Yeah. I love her.
She is so badass.
She's so badass. She's the best, and she's like a ray of light as well. And like a ray of light that you can discuss. Let's say not negative things, but like the more complicated things in life. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people are rays of light.
She can talk about the gray area instead of everything being.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's some folks we know that are like almost toxic positivity merchants, where like they don't want to hear about something bad, and that's difficult.
Oh
Well,
no,
it's
she's
phony baloney.
very smart.
Oh
It's
yeah.
so phony. You can't just do that. Like you cannot have light without dark, darling. Like you can't.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Most of my favorite films, I've noticed too, they're about the moral ambiguity of basically everything.
Yeah,
Tar's one, and also films like To Live and Die in L.A. or
yeah.
Manhunter. Yeah, I love that flick. I actually thought maybe you were referring to that when you were talking about covering Sparks, the car chase scene. But
Oh.
yeah, no, Bishy is the greatest, and Bishy just taped a movie club with me on Ken Russell's Crimes of Passion, which I'm
I
looking
gotta
forward to
come up
putting
with a
out.
good
Oh my
one to do
god,
with
Ken
you.
Russell.
Yes, you want to do a
Have
Ken
you seen
Russell movie?
Listomania?
Yes, it's one of my
Have you seen?
favorites.
Oh my god, I love Listomania.
Let's do the Listomania movie club.
Oh
Hell
yeah.
yeah. He has so many good ones. Did you see the Oscar Wilde one he did? Salome.
You know, I haven't, and I haven't watched it yet. I discovered when prepping for
It's
the
his more
crimes.
low budget one. He does the whole thing like a play in one room, but it's like the Salome's Last Dance.
Yeah, I have it.
There's a trans actor in it. Turns out Salome's a boy.
Oh,
Spoiler
amazing.
alert.
Well, that's okay. I don't mind. I can. It'll still be a wild ride.
It's so good.
I just received a copy of the Blu-ray of Lair of the White Worm because I had a download and I almost watched it like 6 times, and I'm just happy I never saw it just on VHS because his stuff you need to really see it as glorious as possible. Although I first saw Litsomania on VHS, it was it was in some cult movie shelf, and I was like,
Nazi vampires. I mean, it's so camp. It's so great.
oh, I have something to show you. Hold on, one sec.
I'm excited. Hi. I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. I haven't left this
Weird.
chair.
I have an abiding obsession with the actor who plays Wagner in it, and
Oh yeah, the Wagner character's so great.
Oh wow.
Oh my god, you got his
What's it called?
autobiography?
Move
Oh,
it
yeah.
a little more in.
oh yeah, Paul Nicholas.
A little more into the frame.
Oh
What's
yeah,
the book called?
Behind the Smile,
Behind the Smile.
and he's also
Wow.
Cousin Kevin in the
I would have
Tommy
done that
movie.
cover totally different. Yes.
How great is the cover, right? And
Yeah.
it's funny. Ada's dad was helping her move something at the apartment, and I had all my Paul Nicholas stuff on the coffee table. So there was the book, like one of his albums, the whole thing. He goes, "Well, it's pretty comprehensive Paul Nicholas collection." Oh, and like a movie he's in that's terrible called Invitation to the Wedding, and a TV
And they think
series.
you're just like obsessed with Paul Nicholas.
Well, because I am.
Yeah, that's so funny. Wait, why him? Why were you drawn to him out of the whole film?
So when I was a kid and I watched Tommy, I also loved the Bee Gees Sgt. Pepper movie. I think it is a brilliant film that
Oh my god, did you see the Bee Gees documentary that just came out?
how great is that? I love that
It's
so much.
so good.
Did I just go out of focus? Oh,
You
no.
did.
Yeah, you're a
I
little,
did.
yeah.
You know what?
You're
It
all
was
blurry.
it was the Paul Nicholas. Wait, let's get the back cover.
It was,
see
yeah.
it.
That's my favorite Mitch Hedberg joke. Bigfoot is blurry. What if there's a large out of focus monster roaming the hillsides? And that's extra terrifying.
That's way more terrifying. Yeah, there's another Woody Allen reference in Deconstructing Harry. One of the best gags in it is Robin Williams' character literally goes out of focus because he's in a sort of he's in a scrambled state of mind. So his character goes out of focus, and
I love that.
me too. It's great, and that movie also has Woody Allen playing like this pill addicted creep, which is pretty good. But enough problematic favorites. Back to Paul Nicholas. And I've reached out to his management, and they said send a letter over. So my aim is when I'm back in London to tape a chat with Paul Nicholas, who also
Hell yeah.
he's the guy who discovered the suite. He signed the suite to their first deal.
Oh,
before,
really?
Yeah, before
Really?
they went. Yeah, isn't that amazing? And he had
Oh,
dealings
that's
with.
crazy.
It is. So, oh yeah, I got obsessed with him because he was Cousin Kevin in Tommy, and he's in the Bee Gees movie.
Oh,
and
Cousin Kevin.
Oh, Cousin Kevin's the greatest, right? I mean, it obviously bad.
I love that song too. We're on our own.
Cousin,
not
all
alone.
alone, cousin.
I love that song.
Yeah. It's the greatest.
Think of a game to play.
You have to ask him
And
all
he's-
about working with Ken.
Oh my God, I
Torturing
cannot wait to
Tommy.
ask him about it. There's a chunk in the book about it, but it's not as in depth as I would like it to be. Actually, tell you what, so I'm going to reach out to him, and then ideally I'll tape an episode with him, a general one, and then get him to join us on the Listomania movie club.
Maybe we should have him play a
That sounds
cameo in
epic.
our rock opera.
Oh, you absolutely have to, because
Yes.
he's still working. Like he is a machine.
Yeah.
He's constantly working. He absolutely would do it. And you have to have him sing something like that song in Lisztomania, which is
Yes.
insane. Yeah. Also, Rick Wakeman's role in it, which I wouldn't want to spoil for anyone who hasn't seen the film. Like when that happens, you're like, oh my God. And you've already been doing that the whole
It's
time.
lit.
Yeah, it's great. And then there's other stuff about Paul Nicholas, but I'll save that for another time.
I'll tune in for your interview with him.
Oh, thank you very much. I will alert you as soon as it happens. Let's see.
Sick.
We've been going for a while, and I'm having a lovely time. I'm trying to think if there's anything that you'd like to discuss that we haven't discussed yet.
Just, mycelium.
Yeah. Mycelium leather goods.
William Leather. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, wait. What?
They're making
yeah.
leather out of mushrooms.
Oh,
They're
you
making
are.
mushroom leather.
Yeah. I'm not, but someone is.
Someone on this call, perhaps. Okay. When did you get into that?
I don't know. No one.
Oh,
Naked
come on.
mole rats. We haven't discussed naked mole rats yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't know.
No, you're right.
These-
We haven't. There's a couple topics here.
I'm
Axolotls.
happy about this interview because we always get asked the same questions all the time, so it's nice to like have a fun interview. And I was very
Which
thrilled
is,
to
do the curtains
be
match
on
the
it.
drapes, Jack?
What's
What?
that?
Mine don't, but no, mine do not match at all. But yeah, I discovered your show because I love the Katya interview you did,
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. It was fun working with
and
Katya.
Alaska and everything. I love all those gals.
Wait, who's
Oh.
Katya in Alaska? Are these drag queens?
They're from RuPaul, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Oh, amazing.
I knew Katya from Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. And then we started a podcast actually 5 years ago next month. And then she departed. And then I just continued doing it.
Yeah.
And I
What
changed
was it
the
called?
name.
Whimsically Volatile
Yeah,
or something?
exactly. Whimsically Volatile. And I just felt it was, it's me. And so Craig and Friends, I named it that also because it has a hint of like a kid show, but it's also like we talk about not things that are not kids topics. So I kind of like that. And then I did the theme and all
Very
that.
Pee-wee of you.
Thank you
the
very
theme
much.
song is great. It's very
Thank
Pee-wee
you.
of you.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that means a lot to me. Oh, wait, let me read the intro because as you know, Jack, I like to do an intro for that. So doing it at the end also is a hallmark of a Craig and Friends episode.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
The intro at the end, I like it.
Should I pretend it's the beginning?
Yeah, sure. That's what we should do, I think, because we're all about the fragmented society, right? Dear listeners, on this episode, we get to explore the universe of a band exploring the inner and outer space, not to mention Amazing Grace, of life in the middle class when you're a pop star supernova left in the waiting room while the simulator takes over. Of course, I could only be referring to the band so nice they named it twice, Uni and The Urchins.
That was incredible.
That was really good. That was really good.
How the hell did I not come up with the band?
We need you to be on stage before every show
twice.
And say that
when we are in the same town,
I
would love to do that, and I also can send you that if you want to ever play that as an intro.
We'll just use that audio.
I'm furious.
And, slow it down and speed it up.
I would love that.
I'm so upset that I never thought of the band so nice they named it twice.
That's so good. I know that's a very Jack James alliteration.
That is so good.
Oh,
that is
thank
so
you.
and I didn't think of it and I'm so upset.
Well, now you can feel free to use it. Feel free to use it in any
consider that shit stolen.
Well, this is good. I mean, I'll do the intros. I'll be in the film. I'm happy to be in the Uni and the Urchins universe. Man. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, when do you guys know when you're going to be either in LA or London? I don't know what your tour schedule is like, so.
Neither do we, but we'll let you know.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We need to make a LA trip soon, though. We all need to go see some friends out there.
Yeah,
do something.
We've got some work out there.
Do you ever think about moving to LA?
Some hit jobs.
Oh yeah, some
I
hit
don't
jobs.
think
Yeah.
I don't think about moving to LA. No.
I'm always curious with New York folks if LA is something that you think about.
No, we're like the last bastion of New Yorkers because like every other musician I know is like an expat. They've moved to LA. They've done it. They've made the
Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, like
yeah. New York is dead, but like it's our empire of dirt.
I like that. Yeah,
It's
I
kind of
remember.
like Grey Gardens. The music industry here is fully Grey Gardens.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I was wondering about that because you referenced that in the sound check, I think it's called, interview. But I was curious about that because I've had a couple nice days in New York, but I was confused as to what was going on because I think we all share the deep love of the 70s, not just mythos, but like the actual shit that was
Yeah.
going on. Where there's photos in like Please Kill Me of the New York Dolls with with Sean Cassidy hanging out with them. Like that's
Yeah, what a
Yeah.
scene.
yeah,
Down
what a
by Cafe Wall, like everyone
mhm.
was there. Yeah.
Cafe Wa owned
Hendrix,
by
like,
David Lee Roth's dad. Or no,
yeah.
Oh,
his Uncle
really?
Manny. Sorry, his Uncle Manny.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's cool. No, I
Hashtag
mean
never.
everybody in New York now is just trying to like music wise is just trying to recreate a mythos or like a fantasy of
The
60s,
Warhol
70s,
Factory.
early 80s.
Hmm.
Yeah. And like people who are actually like working in music don't live here.
Yeah, like our other bandmate Vlad, he's just like moving to Nashville because like
Oh wow.
everyone's done with New York.
Yeah, Nashville was
I,
interesting. I visited and I just kept hearing about all the different people that lived there. Obviously, I knew about the Music Row folks and everything, but then like, oh, Tom Peterson from Cheap Trick, and this guy, that guy, etc.
I moved to Nashville before I moved to LA.
Well, LA isn't. It's a funny thing about LA because I was so resolute in my. I don't know. People seem fine here when I first moved there, and then I think during the pandemic, maybe my attitude on it shifted. Yeah, and then
And
now
that's
I love London for its connectivity. Like you go out with some folks and you can get around town really easily. You can zip around. You can go to
Yeah,
the
it's more like Manhattan in that way, whereas in
yeah
LA it's so far flung that like you can only do one thing per day. Like it's such a commitment to
yeah.
just drive across town to do anything.
yeah it is
So people just
definitely.
end up living in their houses. That's why people's houses are like their fetish in LA. Everyone has like a house fetish. It's because they've never fucking leave it.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I mean, I tend to cloister up in the apartment quite a bit. But I don't know if
I
that's
love like
agoraphobia.
little New York apartments. Like in LA, everyone's like, all they talk about is like, I just installed a new bay window. Like it's like I don't care.
Fuck.
All I want eventually is like a home theater setup. That like so whatever house that would fit
That's
it.
true. That's the cool thing about LA houses is like a lot of the pimp ones I know have like their own home theater, and that is so cool. Like that's
Yeah.
all I need. I just need that one room. I could live in that one room.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
rest of it could just be like there's
I
the
like the
clothes, the bed.
folklore of LA.
What's that,
I like
sorry?
the ghosts. I like the folklore of LA. Like I like the stories and the murders and the like crazy. Like I love all of that.
Yeah,
But
like the
like
Black Dahlia and all the
the
like
stories
the
are
trophy
amazing.
wives.
Like there's so many like yeah. But I don't know if I'd move. And
I
also
heard a
something.
really cool rumor that the Black Dahlia murder was actually done by Fluxus artists because it
Oh
was
Oh
wow.
really?
referencing specific surrealist works in the way that her body was like chopped up and arranged. It was very like Hans Belmer meets that Peeping Tom thing by Marcel Duchamp. And if you look at the side-by-side photos, it is crazy. It does look like her body is arranged against the landscape exactly like these like famous like works of surrealism.
Oh
So
wow.
some people think that it was actually done either by a copycat artist or someone in the Fluxus community, the surrealist community,
This reminds me of something that
committed that
I was
murder.
thinking of before. You seem to really enjoy murky, mysterious, potentially conspiracy theory laden backstory to things.
I do.
Yeah.
I do love conspiracies. I think I don't really believe any of them. I don't even know if I don't believe anything. I like barely believe I exist. Like, but conspiracies are so fun. I think my mom is actually like diagnosed like John Nash kind of style where she'll like connect dots. So she's very, very high IQ, but she connects dots that aren't there. And I think I do have a little like appreciation or tendency towards that, like where I enjoy stream maps of history or world events. Like Adam Curtis is so good at it, like hypernormalization, or any Adam Curtis doc is so good at like connecting world events you normally wouldn't have, or cultural things that you wouldn't have like put two and two together. But it's just fun.
Yeah, no, it's lots of fun. Like I love the whole Andy Kaufman stuff, like about Andy Lives and all that, those wormholes.
You mean how he faked his death?
Yeah, exactly. I love that whole premise.
Oh yeah, or like Elvis Presley is still alive, like kind of thing.
But thing about the Elvis being still alive thing, I just don't believe it, because he seemed to be basically helpless. For the, you know, like, and he was surrounded by a bunch of yes men. And I mean, if you're addicted to that many drugs at the same time, it's very difficult to lead a very what's the word, discreet life.
Oh, I fully believe he died on the toilet eating a fried peanut butter jelly sandwich. I mean, that's the official story, and I think that's the most plausible.
Absolutely.
But what a kind of like a power move to go out on, like taking a shit and eating a fried peanut butter banana sandwich.
Yeah, eating on the toilet is that's a whole thing. That's a whole like level of, that's a move.
That's a lot.
Well, you know the conspiracy around Sam Cooke's death, right?
Wait, remind me, because I read something about it in Mojo, but a long time ago.
So Sam Cooke, you know, he was like super wholesome crooner, beautiful black man, like singer guy who was like very successful, and he was killed in a very sordid way, because, you know, all of his hit songs were like, don't know much about science books, like, don't know much about the French I took, like very wholesome, very cute, like 1950s.
Yeah.
He was killed pantsless with a boner, running in a parking lot with nothing but a leather vest on, chasing a prostitute.
Oh my God.
Shot by the motel owner with a shotgun in a parking lot. Like horribly depraved situation. And the conspiracy is that he wanted to get into singing not these like wholesome pop songs, but to start doing more like activist related material. And that his voice was so powerful and he had such a following that the government wanted to assassinate him, essentially.
Wow.
So that he couldn't go on to start doing protest music and funnel his power to that. And so they framed him. But the official story is this like prostitute pulled a fast one on him and like stole his wallet and ran out the motel.
Right.
And he was chasing her through the parking lot, and the motel owner saw this black man with no pants chasing a white woman in a parking lot and just gunned him down or something. Like,
which is a
strange story. Both can be true. The prostitute could have been hired by the FBI.
Right. Well, she could have been like a CIA psyop.
She could have been like Mae West. There's a similar one
for Fela Kuti, which was like, you know, there's a conspiracy that the government killed Fela Kuti because he was so powerful. He could have seceded and started his own country in Africa. Like, but like, you know, the official story is he died of a venereal disease because he had like 200 wives. But
oh yeah, that's right.
Why do they always make it like degrading? It's like, and he had a boner.
Well, there has to be with that, right? Because it's then it makes people like somehow automatically go, oh well, he was like,
there's got to be a layer of opprobrium.
Yeah, like there's, you know, these things about,
I mean, drugs. I think they're plausible. I think the government killed a lot of famous potential dissidents, you know. I think it's also plausible that the government spread the crack cocaine epidemic to bring down minority communities.
I completely
drive real estate prices down so they could buy it up.
Definitely.
That, and also funneled the funds into the Iran-Contra mess.
Yeah, it's always been really, really cute and fun, the government. They've always done a good job.
Charming little dainty things like that.
Government's always been great. Yeah, I don't know why.
They've always just really crushed it. Like just 10 out of 10, no notes.
Yeah, just up until recently, where there's been a couple problems, but you know, that'll smooth over, I'm sure.
We'll get through them.
Yeah. It'll be simple and easy. And now there's a file open on us, I'm sure, which is good.
Oh, my Google history for sure. The CIA is just like I'm on their watch list.
just
Just
for the love of
cats.
just
What
for the
does
love
it
of Uni
mean?
alone. Yeah, there's too many dark memes. You're on the dark web getting those memes. I like Meme Lord.
Oh,
That's a good
that's
title.
for sure.
Meme Lord.
Yeah. So I'll have to introduce you as Meme Lord in the introduction. What else? Is there anything? Time's flown by. So I want to thank you both very
Yeah,
much.
it's been like 2 hours. That was so easy. That was great.
Oh yeah, feels
That
like
was
15 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, I really look
I'm
forward
sure
to
there's a lot of stuff in there that'll get us canceled. So just be liberal with editing
Go for it.
most of my talking out.
That's it. I'll try to make those the promo clips, and then
Oh God.
Just like isolate something out of context too.
oh, that's definitely the plan, because that's
Yeah.
that's what we want. We just want the attention. It doesn't matter how we get it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care. I'll
All
break my
attention is
hand
good
again.
attention.
Are you kidding me?
Exactly. Well, listen, it's been really lovely talking to both of you, and I look forward to meeting you in person and your further output and our movie clubs.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to the
It's so
movie
nice.
club.
Fantastic.
I'm looking forward to having
Definitely.
free time one day.
To what? Sorry, my
Never
headphone
gonna
fell off.
happen.
You're looking forward
I'm
to what?
looking forward to having free time to
Yeah.
do
Oh,
stuff like movie clubs.
you know, that brings me to a question I meant to ask before. So you used to have a sort of breakfast thing, and I'm sure, like me, your hours rotate a bit, and if that's for both of you, Jack and Charlotte, particularly when you're in the midst of a project. But do you find that you get up and you're just so driven to do an overdub or whatever that's what propels you forward?
Yeah, I'm an obsessive workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much all I do.
Now, in that
'Cause
obsessive
I
work,
have a petrifying like fear of death. And so the only thing that keeps me distracted from the impending reality of my own death is just working constantly on stuff.
now, do you have a huge vault of stuff that is not necessarily unfinished, but are maybe
Oh
outside?
yeah, we have
for sure.
so much
Loads.
stuff. Like it's like the album was actually just like a random selection of our many nearly finished things that we could put out like very soon. I'm hoping to. We have like a crazy amount of material actually. Like it's a little bit
I would
daunting.
like to do Simulator, the B-sides, and have like 10 songs that didn't make it. And just like have it be like, not like a massive release. It's just like chill, like just because I want them out.
Well, I think that's a cool idea, especially for fans who would just like more stuff.
Yeah.
Because a lot of bands don't have that sometimes. So it's nice that you do have that huge cache of stuff. But I imagine that it also sometimes brings about sort of maybe neurotic patterns.
Yeah.
Work habits? Us neurotic? Never.
No.
Yeah, no,
No, I wouldn't know anything about that either.
yeah, we're pretty neurotic. Are you also an insomniac?
Yes, and my sleep schedule rotates. That's why it works well that I'm on night feed schedule with our son. But that shifts.
How old is your son?
He's 3 months and 2 weeks.
Oh, he's in the hard phase of having a baby.
Yeah,
the not rewarding phase. He's just a naked mole rat.
Exactly. Who needs to be fed and poops, but he's smiling and he's waving and he loves music. I can tell that already.
Relatable.
The first song he fell asleep to when he was outside was The Magnificent Seven by The Clash, because I think during the pregnancy, I was having I sort of had a bit of an episode that summer, and the only thing I would listen to was Sandinista on a loop. So maybe he heard it through the womb, but he does love music and the Beatles. And Here Comes the Sun.
Babies love the Beatles.
They do. And Here Comes the Sun. I started playing it for him to soothe him.
That's so cute.
And it would be, I was like, good. Now he's associated that.
You got to start him young on the classics.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
So sweet.
Isn't that sweet?
When he's a little bit older, Fantasia.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea.
The other day I watched Fantasia on Magic Mushroom Tea, and holy shit, it is so good. That movie really stands the test of time.
And another classic,
I can't believe they were playing like Stravinsky for kids like back in the day. No wonder everyone's dumb now. It's like,
well, I was thinking, Ada and I talk about this a lot. Well, like for instance, so I did a live movie club thing with Wang Chung for To Live and Die in LA because they did the score. And we're watching it, and Ada hadn't seen it before, and I love to not tell people what happened. I hate spoilers for movies. So there's the movie's very, again, it's moral ambiguity. There's many layers. I've seen it many times, and there's still things I sort of glean from it every time I see it. And we're talking about films and Crimes of Passion, the Ken Russell movie, both films made roughly 40 years ago. And outside of Tar, you think, gee, there's a lot of stuff right now that's just not really it, like, like in the 70s we had Taxi Driver and a lot of stuff, also a lot of shit, a lot of garbage movies.
Mhm.
But there is this, I think, because of maybe the increase in the superhero films, there is not quite as much of that challenging of the audience.
Well, that's because
No.
the most interesting art for any medium comes more close to the invention of that format, right? So I think
That's
we're
very true.
past the heyday of film. We're past the heyday of music too, frankly, because every mathematical combination you can do with guitar and drums has been done. Synths as well, and even laptops, that's all been done. So like, and with cinema, it was definitely in its heyday in the 60s and 70s, and then there was a few new interesting things developed in the 90s, and it's all just been repetitious since then, because there's
Yeah.
we need to invent new formats, and those formats have been invented, some of them. Like, I think video games are going to swiftly become high art, and I think that's going to be where we see the real challenging innovation you're referring to, which is no longer going to be in cinema. We're just going to get more Avatar 3, 4 kind of shit,
Yeah, but hopefully more stuff like Tar makes it out, and then or new Cronenberg. And I'm glad that there was a new Cronenberg, because I was watching a piece on YouTube where even at the time of like Dead Ringers and things like that, very hard for him to get financing until he became
Oh
like a
yeah,
higher
Ken
profile.
Russell actually came to us to like, he was well, I don't have any money, but he asked Sean to like help fund one of his films, and
Oh
right
wow.
before he died, and he
Yeah.
wanted him to like work on the soundtrack or something. And I was like so stoked, and then he died, and I was like, no.
Uh I'm glad you got to meet Ken Russell though. That's great.
Yeah, no, it was just emails, unfortunately. I
Well,
didn't.
still correspondence. Ken Russell wrote about
Did you get to
Fishy.
meet Ken Russell?
No, I wish I did. I wish I did. I did
But
not.
I guess the point of the story is that like he couldn't get funding. It was
That
really
is,
hard for
yeah.
him, a legend, to get funding. And the same with Werner Herzog. There was a time period when no one would fund a Herzog film. And he was like just going around with like Oliver Twist in Hollywood, like, please, alms for the poor. Like, and these are like absolute legends, but they were just on everyone's shit lists.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Friedkin had a span of that for a while until he then made those two very small films, Bug and Killer Joe, which are amazing and brutal. But yeah, Ken Russell, yeah, because his last known films that I haven't watched yet, some of them were made on camcorders, which is like, what? This guy's one of the greatest, most visionary guys ever, and every
Yeah,
director
it's
would
like
say the
Inland
same.
Empire or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, because I
exactly.
think we don't live in a culture where industries take risks on experimental art anymore. I think that the
No,
last great
because they
heyday,
want to return.
Yeah.
yeah, it was the '90s was the last heyday for that. There's no,
Yeah.
it's all Marvel movies now, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and weirdly too, when people post or said, like Tarantino said something in a podcast, and then Martin Scorsese said what he said about Marvel films, and people went fucking crazy on Twitter. And I'm
He
like,
said it's not cinema.
and you know what? I'm like, even if I didn't agree with that, I don't really have many feelings about it, but I get what he's saying, right? Uh,
No.
I wouldn't get so hot and bothered, but there's so many people who
But
were
people
like,
are mad at Scorsese.
yeah, people got mad at Scorsese for saying that Marvel films are not cinema, and they got
Or
mad at
not cinema.
Tarantino for saying that it's not a great era for
Oh
film
my God,
because
Scorsese can say whatever the fuck he wants. What the fuck have they
Yeah.
done with their lives? Like,
no,
who can't? Oh
Right.
my
right,
God.
no,
Like,
exactly,
okay, first of all, there has always been a place for schlock in
yeah,
every industry. There's always been cheesy films, cheesy theatrical productions, like,
yeah,
that I mean, they are legitimate movies. That's a type of itch that people like to scratch when they go to the theater and
yeah,
see like a big box office silly thing. That's always been a thing, like the Indiana Jones or whatever. But
yeah,
like, I totally get what he's saying. It's not like it's not like real art or anything. I mean, but I just think the combinations for real art have been exhausted within that medium, and the exciting new formats are going to be happening within like video games and virtual reality, like augmented. It'd be really cool to find a way to make our rock opera like augmented reality or something. Like, I don't know how, but virtual reality.
I think the VR folks, I mean, there might be whoever the company is that worked on Ridley Scott's The Martian, I think. If I can remember the guy's name, they seem to be a company that is very well funded and very interested in looking at new and different ways to explore getting VR into the marketplace. So who knows? But also, you mentioned the mushroom tea, and I read in some interview with you all about psychedelics. So would you rate your psychedelic consumption as fairly frequent, moderately frequent? I feel like I'm giving you the introductory paperwork at an assessment, but
at the clinic,
right, yeah, at like an AA clinic.
Yeah,
I would say. What are the levels?
Oh, just how would you like? How often do you like to take psychedelics?
I think like once a month or so, or 2 times a month, just like little mushrooms.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good for you.
No, I agree.
Honestly,
I think they're great. I don't feel out of control, or like I don't ever feel like I'm gonna do something insane. Like it just feels like so good and funny, and like, oh my god, my cheeks always hurt from laughing. I love it.
Yeah.
The laughing fits induced from LSD or mushrooms.
I just am like, everything
greatest thing ever.
So funny.
And it happens when you think you're like mind melding with someone and they're in on the joke too.
Yeah.
And like, and sometimes the joke becomes so abstract, it's just some like joke you're both hallucinating at the same time or something. But then like the giggle puddles from that are just like incredible. Yeah. But you know, I did so many psychedelics in my teens and 20s. I just don't do drugs anymore. And it's like, you know, I wish I was cooler. I could say, yeah, and then I'm like rolling right now. But like I'm like, I do a lot
right now.
Right now, I only do my interviews rolling.
Caffeine and Adderall are all I do.
Balls.
It's just to stay awake longer so I can work more. That's like all I do.
That's very Warhol of you, you know. His pills, the Obitrol pills, you know what those became? They took out the methamphetamine and Adderall was invented.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so he was doing just like productivity pills all the time.
Yes, exactly, because Obitrol was a product designed to control weight. And it had 4 different amphetamine salts in it, so they took out the methamphetamine.
Oh yeah, and he was very insecure about his like everything. Like he was just very
exactly.
Shy,
yeah, and he
physically
got
insecure,
very thin for a while. Well, I guess on that note, talking about Warhol's body consciousness and all that, we'll close out this episode. But I very much look forward to another chat, because now I'm curious. But wait, hold on, sorry, I've ended the show 4 times now, but. Your teens and 20s and your drug use, was anything concurrent with that? Like, was there something going on that you were escaping from, or was it just party time?
I was raging pretty hard. Yeah, like it was kind of like in between like modeling and my band stuff with Sean, it was just like nonstop like parties and orgies and traveling and like crazy shit.
Yeah, no, that makes
we
sense.
did like shit with like scuba diving with like manta rays. I was on like acid for that. Like
that's amazing.
Just like in British castles, just like it was really fun. It was really amazing. But then for me, it started to get unsavory when I started becoming paranoid that I would end up like my mother, like permanently seeing the world through a psychedelic lens.
Sure.
Or like, you know, the Syd Barrett phenomenon, essentially.
Yeah. No one wants to end up crushed up mandrax and Brill cream in their hair.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Oh god, those photos of him like shopping when he was like,
I know.
He gained so much weight from the antipsychotics and like was bald and it's just unrecognizable. He was like the most beautiful man in the world, and yeah, it was very sad. But So my trip started getting kind of dark, and I started getting really paranoid and thinking everyone was trying to kill me, or I was going to be permanently stuck that way. So I just stopped, and yeah, I don't do it anymore. But I've had such good times on it, like all the giggle attacks and things that like Jack is talking about, like running around naked in the forest with Sarah Beth, and like yeah, that I don't need to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Not
that
if
makes
I have
sense.
anything to say about it.
Next band meeting, there's going to be a whole
Right.
discussion.
We're gonna be
And
high.
yeah, I guess that's it. See, I keep thinking of more things, but like, how often does the band chat about stuff? Like, what are the band meetings like? Like, what it seems like they're very fun and convivial because the rapport between the two of you, I'm guessing, is representative of the rapport of the
Well,
rest of the
Yeah.
group.
It's pretty much
Yeah.
just us anyway. Like it's sort of ongoing, just like always texting each other and lots of lists. And there's never like sometimes we'll have like a meeting, but typically it's just like, hey, and
we
just all
communicate
day
through
long.
memes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
right. That's
communicate. Yeah,
right.
exactly.
The band
We
that
just start
communicates through
sending each other
memes.
memes and references all day.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the whole band, it's all the creative stuff is just us. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
ongoing.
it's just me and Jack at this point.
Yeah, just like making each other laugh. Like
Well, I kind of had
his
that. I
Yeah.
kind of had that sense about sort of because the credits, it's like directed
yeah.
by, executive produced by, all that, and then when you're used to reading the liner notes and stuff, you go, okay, but I didn't want to assume, so I figured
Yeah.
involve everyone in that.
The
But
monkeys are running the circus for sure.
well, that's good though. That's really great.
Mm.
And there was one other thing about that. How long have you two known each other?
4 years?
It's been 5 years.
5 years?
Interesting,
Holy
because
shit! Yeah,
I would
5
not have
years.
been able to guess that, because it seems like your rapport is so strong, and the friendship seems so thorough,
Yeah,
and
We've been through a lot together in 5 years,
yeah.
so it's
And
kind of it's
we
more like 20 years of a normal friendship
yeah, and we
instead of 5
seldom
years of working.
we seldom get into like tips. I don't think we ever really have been in like we generally group together very very well. It
No,
wasn't sexual,
we've never had
so
a fight in 5 years. And the
no,
only
not
times we've
not
even been
really.
slightly passive aggressive to each other were really funny.
Yeah, they're always. I mean,
Well,
that's kind of with
it was like
even
you
like
you
shit.
sent a typo, you misspelled something, and I
Oh,
like
I was so mad at you.
and I
I was like,
corrected
she's
your
being a
spelling all like
bitch. I
saucy
was like,
like,
fuck her, and I like
and you got
I
really
threw my
upset,
phone
and then
away.
like
No, I didn't respond.
and then there was another time that he was like, maybe I should direct the next video, and I
Oh,
was like,
you were horrible.
and I just got really like passive aggressive. But those are like the only times that
But
like
it wasn't even that bad.
it
Like
wasn't
we've
a
never
fight,
really, yeah.
which is a miracle, because
It's
like
coming. No.
yeah, no, but like usually when you work with people that intensely, it's like very difficult. Like David and I would fight all the time.
Mhm.
But with
it's
Jack,
always a laugh, honestly. Even the
Jack
most
is so
stressful
funny
day.
and diplomatic, and it's like
Yeah.
impossible to ever be mad at him because he's just so sweet and like so hardworking.
Yeah, I'll definitely buckle. If I'm really mad at something and someone confronts him, like, well, I didn't really mean that. Like, I'll like buckle really fast. Because I get over things so quick. Like, if I'm upset about something, I'll get over it in an hour.
But
and
you're
then
also
I'm
like the jester from King Lear,
Yeah.
like who's
yeah,
like
for
acts like
sure.
the fool but is secretly the wise man.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it seems like someone's acceding control, but really they're not manipulating, but they're guiding things in the right
Yeah,
way.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I give a
The
little nudge
soft
for sure.
alpha.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I'm like, I'm leading the horse to water
Yeah.
sometimes, and sometimes that water is poisoned. But yeah,
Well, that's good. It
We
seems
need to do a
not
lot
on
of that
purpose.
kind of soft manipulation with the straight boys.
Oh, for sure. You gotta just like blow smoke up their ass. Oh my god,
Oh
you gotta
yeah,
be like,
you look so good in that shirt.
you're
Definitely that one.
amazing. Yeah, for sure. Now they're gonna know our secret.
So
But
do you both
listen,
identify
gang,
as queer or
huh?
do you both identify say as queer or do you identify as anything specifically?
I identify as nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jack is what is known as a golden gay, which is he's never touched a vagina, not even being born.
Oh
I was
wow.
platinum because I was a cesarean, so
Yeah,
I
he's a platinum gay because he was cesarean and has still never touched one. He's seen
no,
mine plenty of times.
I obviously I identify as with that like culture and obviously my sexual like my partner now is a man, so my orientation is definitely to men. But I just sort of like roll my eyes at the idea of identity at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, no, it's boring. Like, you can be everything.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like all flesh is drag, and like
Yeah,
this happens to be my drag suit, so I'm rolling with it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
guess
rolling with it.
yeah, we obviously like really like worship queer culture and aesthetics, and you know like Klaus Nomi and all of that. Like
Yeah.
Oscar
the stuff that
Wilde,
Bowie so heavily
reference on
derived
the
from was all like
album. Yeah,
yeah,
for
and
sure.
Oscar Wilde.
Yeah.
That's gonna be your country album, right? Oscar
Yeah,
Wilde West.
Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde, Wild Wild West, or something like that.
Well,
Yeah.
the outfits will be great for that. And I guess in
Oh hell yeah!
closing, Charlotte, since you're such a Shakespeare fan, what's your favorite Shakespeare piece?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I want to be
I
in on
love
this question too.
Oh, I'm sorry,
oh
Jack. I didn't mean to exclude you. I didn't know if
Yeah,
you were a fan. So I would like from both of
yeah.
you. And please forgive me,
yeah,
Jack.
Jack,
Forgive me.
what's yours?
Mine is really basic.
Well, that's good though. What is it?
My it's
Wait,
not a deep cut, but
Hamlet?
as you
it's
like it?
Hamlet. Yeah,
Hamlet? Yeah.
Listen,
I can just tell
Hamlet
by
for
the
sure.
aesthetic of the paintings behind you that you're a
Yeah,
Hamlet kind of
yeah,
guy.
Hamlet. But I mean,
Hamlet's
As You Like
listen,
It's amazing. I love As You Like It for sure. But
Hamlet's
I
pretty
actually really
good.
love his
I like the
comedies.
dramas
Like
more.
I
His comedies
think
are great. As You Like It's amazing. But
yeah, like
I
the
like the
interweaving
dramas.
plots of Much Ado About Nothing or Midnight Summer Dream. Like I
Yeah,
just think they're so clever. Like the interweaving subplots and his comedies are really underrated.
Well, we have the
He's known
definitive
for his
answer.
it's yours,
drama.
Charlotte.
Yeah, no, he is. Well, and also Hamlet, it's pretty good. And do you have a favorite adaptation like that? Isn't there one, the Kenneth Branagh one, that's like 6 hours or something?
Oh, I like the
Oh, like
Tempest that they did.
The
I thought
which
the
one?
Tempest was really cool.
Uh-huh.
They did an adaptation of the Tempest, and it was like all I can remember. It was only stars, but for some reason I can
are
only
you talking
remember.
about that movie like Titus or something that was like
No,
that?
it was the Tempest,
Oh,
the
wait,
Shakespeare.
with John Cassavetes, Jenna Rollins, and Molly Ringwald?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and no, I mean I'm thinking of one. I can only remember Russell Brand is in it, but it's like
Oh,
pre-fame
Oh,
Russell Brand. The Tempest, I thought that was really good. And then like
Woody
fucking
Allen did Midsummer Night's Sex Comedy.
yeah,
oh, that's right.
That was a great adaptation.
haven't heard of that, but that's amazing.
Oh, Kurosawa's Ran is King Lear. It's the Japanese like
Oh,
Edo period
wow.
version of King Lear.
Okay. That's another one on my
Kurosawa's Ran
list I
is
have to
like
see.
The Lion
excellent.
King.
The Lion King, yeah.
Listen, gang, my phone is about
Yeah,
to die.
well, I know, and we've had a long and lovely chat. Thanks to both of you. I look forward to seeing you in
Love
whatever
you.
form and virtually. I love you and talk to you soon.
You're awesome. That
It
was so fun.
nice
Oh,
talking
thank
to
you.
you.
You
That
too.
was really fun and easy.
I
I
loved it
appreciate
myself.
it.
Thank you. So
Bye,
long.
guys.
Bye,
Bye
bye.
bye.